long term or not, but I'm excited to find out what it looks like right now.
It might only be one game.
Yeah.
You never know. But let's dive into the draft here and see what happens in game number one. T1 on the blue side is theoretically an advantage, as they will ban away the Ashe. Kalista going to leave the Rift as well, and I think it makes sense for KT to target the bottom lane just a little bit, as the Yone taken away from BDD and the Azir taken away from Faker. Kind of hilarious seeing the Azir banned away by the team that does have BDD on it, but of course when they're red side, they want to deny it from Faker.
As BDD versus Faker, Azir priority is always going to be
really yes. High. The Shuriman Emperor is certainly a big one, as Ambessa also going to leave the Rift.
Interesting here. The Aurora and Skarner, I think it's going to have to be Skarner that you're going to ban in this final spot. But they did leave it to last, which can sometimes trap you a little bit, because now you have to give the Aurora to Faker, or Doran, potentially.
I mean, I'm okay with seeing Aurora. That one's beatable. Skarner is not beatable. It's barely killable.
Aurora has been pretty tough to beat, though, at the same time. You
Please ban the Skarner, guys.
I think they will.
Oh, no, it's Lilia! Oh, KT. Oh, KT. What have we... KT.
Aurora, by the way, is sitting at a sub 50% win rate at the moment, and they're not going to get the Skarner, obviously. They're going to get the Aurora.
We wanted good data. We wanted good data on Smash, and, like, what he's capable of. We're going to get no good data at all. It's a Skarner game.
No.
Oh, no.
Cassante can get locked here. The question is what comes with it.
Just for context, did you hear, like, I think it was Orcs that was talking about it this morning? Globally, Skarner has died once.
I did not know
Globally.
That's wild.
It's disgusting.
He hasn't been played a lot, to be fair, because he's banned all the time. But yeah, that's a pretty good stat. That's a good stat.
Yeah. Orcs can confirm that or deny it on the space, but I'm pretty sure that's what he said. And it feels good to say the stat, so I'm gonna stick to it.
Varus, like I said, a pick that I associate with Smash, and Guma, of course, will be taken away here. So it's a nice prio grab. The Ashe is banned, the Kalista's banned, so we'll see what Smash ends up ultimately deciding on here. As Faker will get his iconic Victor, they'll opt into this over the Aurora, even though Aurora does have some good synergy with Skarner.
Yep.
And what comes next here is quite interesting because, you know, you have the Cassante face up here, so you could just counterpick there, or if you're afraid of what happens to Smash at champion pool, you could push something up here.
I think an Ezreal makes some sense.
Yeah.
Somewhat match range, keep yourself safe, but instead, they're looking at the Gnar into Cassante matchup. Can go definitely either way. Doran is a very practiced Gnar player, but so far, Gnar is moving in the territory of a fellow Yordle. I know he's a little bit older than that of Corki, but neither of them have found very much success here in the LCK.
Vi is also up. So
wow, that's a lot of high-priority picks for KT.
Yeah, it's three pretty good ones. And it's going to really shut down a lot of immobile AD carries. They can ban the Ezreal that you were talking about now. Smash has a pretty wide champion pool. When you play next to Reckless, you kind of have to learn to do that, since he's a pretty eclectic support player himself. But, you know, he's played like Ashe Rumble lanes, and they'll ban the Xayah, which is another safe pick into the Vi. So maybe it'll be a Xayah plus Ezreal ban here for KT Rolster ultimately. And now for T1 on their side, we're looking at potentially locking down some of BDD's prio picks or some support picks for this Varus.
They need someone that can kill a tank. That is what they absolutely need. Dr. He might be playing the lethal tempo variety of the Varus. That will allow him to maybe do a damage to the Skarner.
Talia's pretty good at doing a damage.
Yep, I think Talia was a good choice for KT. Really good ban away as well, because Talia Vi, very powerful. BDD, a fantastic Talia. That ban that's money right there.
Yeah, I almost wonder if, like, BD is going to be forced to play something pretty weird here, because he really needs to play... I love that ban.
Yeah, the Elise support ban.
I feel like he needs to play something like an AP carry, basically. And with Victor taken away, the Azir is banned, and the Talia is gone for, you know, some consistent damage there and some great follow-up for Vi. Playing Ahri into this doesn't feel great, you know. Target selection is going to be pretty tricky, even though they have the Vi already. I mean, you can play it, but it really leaves you very vulnerable to getting outscaled if you don't snowball the early mid-game. Yeah, I mean, something like a Rise almost would be okay here. Just don't know what he's going to end up opting for in this kind of unique position where they left Skarner up.
Yeah, I hope it's not an Ahri pickup here, because the Poppy is still up and available, something that Carrier could definitely play.
Now, this is great. The ults you have to steal are amazing, but it doesn't do a lot of consistent damage, so you really need to set up some big engages with those ultimates you're stealing, and it works great with Vi. Now, they banned the Elise over the Ezreal, so the Ezreal ends up being a pretty no-brainer picker, especially now that they've over-indexed into the Sylas. This, I like a little bit less.
I mean, it certainly is a lot of follow-up, but I think the Poppy is so valuable still, even into the Sylas that does want to be dashing around a lot. Vault Breaker can be cancelled, and Carrier will have a lot of control of these team fights. Kasante's whole kit's kind of eliminated by this champion. Very, very powerful, and I would have loved it if Wei had just picked it, right? Could have just locked that one away themselves. Instead, it's going to be Carrier and Smash playing the Poppy Kai'Sa towards the bottom side of the map. Don't know why I changed up the order, but there we go. Wei is thinking about just giving him the Braum, but instead I think a fair bit, like a bit of engage could be helping out here.
Trying to get access to that Victor is going to be a big part of what KT Rolster need to do. I mean, they already have a lot of great tools to do that.
Braum's kind of fun.
I like the Rel here just simply because you have some combo potential with this, and it also allows to set up for more of Sylas's ult steals. Like, even if he steals the Chaos Storm, it works well with the Rel. Steal the Nara ultimate works well with the Rel. Steal the Sylas or steal the Skarner ultimate with Sylas, and Impale with the Rel ultimate. I feel like it empowers BDD in a really cool way, while also gives Duckdom a pretty stable laning phase. And the Kai'Sa, I think it's not a bad pick necessarily, but I think it's very risky. There's a lot of ways to lock up a single target. You know, if Gnar hits somebody, then the Gravity Well's dropped on top of them, the Skarner's impaling, and Smash can follow up on all that very well. He doesn't have the same sort of long-term damage output that I would personally be liking to see out of something like an Ezreal or maybe even a Jinx. Yeah, when you have that insane front line. You've got a Poppy, you've got a Skarner, and it is very, very easy to just kind of front to back behind.
It felt like a hyper carry composition was coming together. I think you're right. Maybe it like feels like a cop out or something like that to have more of this explosive dive style champion that augments a lot more, I guess, damage towards the top side of the map. But I still think that they will be able to utilize it to get a lot done. There will be a lot of magic damage coming out of this team as well on T1's side. We'll see whether Smash is going to incorporate some of the AD elements into the Kai'Sa that, honestly, we've been pretty underwhelmed with thus far, but maybe he'll surprise us. On the other side, Duckdom has like the whole team on his shoulders. He is all of the range here for KT, and he has been under the most scrutiny so far for KT, mainly because hype has been so good for Bro, and KT just loaned him away. Which is starting to feel a little bit silly. A whole lot that we're going to find out here in this game number 1 of the Telecom War. Let's get into it. Oh man, fans very loud here in Lowell Park. It is a full house, as you would expect, for the Telecom War. And let's see who's going to be able to draw first blood, not only in the game, but also as far as this match is concerned. Getting this first game win, especially for KT, right? They have the red side, and so winning here in game 1 would be a big statement.
Yeah. The Sylas into the Gnar always feels like one of those classic, you know, got him moves. And
that was the original.
And it was kind of one of those picks we'd seen in the past where Sylas was so strong in so many matchups, and then if you picked Gnar and left it open, it was like, okay, well, Sylas is strong anyways, and now also he has Gnar ultimate. It's a little bit more balanced. It feels a little bit more stable at the moment, but I do think BDD has a lot of great tools in this game. If they can have an explosive mid-game through him, you know, getting through the front line might not be their biggest issue, as we're going to see some vertical jungle potential start up here. Just going to pull this one away, but not actually heavily committing.
And Doran teleported to the bottom lane as well, which is kind of crazy. It was up towards the top side just to spot out whether there was going to be a lane swap, as BDD somehow threaded the needle on that chain. Faker is going to say, I have a ranged auto attack, so you're going to be in trouble. Wei taking a fair bit of damage here, as Carrier getting so much value from that Q. T1 will match.
Yeah, Rel on a winning streak.
Yeah, massive one. 6 wins in a row. Pretty impressive.
Yeah, and a lot of these without, I mean, actually most of them without Misfortune. That was kind of the old combo after Rel stopped being a jungler and was more of a niche support. Looking really good right now. Grasp, by the way, for Faker and Doran as we are engaged.
Crashdown does come in, but that is a heroic charge and a first blood for Smash. Wei, not sure about that one. Maybe he should have listened to casting. As that is not going very well, and already Smash off to a pretty good start. Grabs himself a feat of strength prior to 3 minutes.
Yeah, that was less than ideal. That is a Poppy on the other side. And, you know, not sure what else to say about it. Yeah, I get the idea of trying to get some Varus damage done early as lethal tempo, which you kind of expected considering the tanky front line that T1 does have in this game. And I liked,
yeah, Chain's going to connect here from B2D.
No electrocute since he went Conqueror, so it's not going to be the big whoosh that you're hoping for if you're a Silas enjoyer when you do get those chains.
It's Grasp Victor as well.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
I think it's wise though. This is weird because with the way this crashdown goes, Keria just gets the free shove into the wall and that's just it.
Yeah.
Like he basically Keria stuck his foot out and then like Ray just ran and tripped over it.
Exactly. And did Wei not have his Aftershock up? Because it looked like he just popped like a balloon.
I'm not actually, I didn't really check that. So
yeah, I don't know.
It didn't look like
maybe the space can check it out. The space could potentially check it out, see what actually went down there, because that was certainly not what the Doctor ordered on the KT side of things, but it certainly was on T1's side. As Faker's going to be pushing on up. And Cuz is going to like B2D, deal with it, buddy. I know it's a rough lane, but just try and cope as best you can.
Yeah, the grasp is really cool because it just makes it super annoying for B2D. Like he's constantly going to be trading down throughout this lane. Owner, nice try.
Yeah.
He's Scar though, so he cares very little.
Yep. Cuz able to come in here, probably just going to hold the wave for B2D, or at least make sure that B2D can get something done, as Owner is going to have his back denied. This could be a big deal as Vault Breaker does come in, flashes in front to make sure that Owner can't get out, as B2D's going to flash in, lands the chains, and picks up his first kill, but Faker's going to immediately answer. Now you've got a Rel coming over, another Vault Breaker going to land. There's the crash down, but it's going to get the flash out from Faker, and he will survive.
Really see how experienced Cuz and B2D are in this moment, though, to make that type of a call. The flash buffer for the Vault Breaker is there for Cuz. It's really well played. Would have felt a lot better, though, if it was First Blood and grabbing feet and strength.
I almost called First Blood because it felt like it should have been for that timing. As Keria goes in, gets a bit aggressive towards Doctarm, who can't really do anything without his support up here with him.
Yeah, -1 cannon there as well.
Ooh, speaking of -1 cannon, another one in the mid lane.
Yeah. So this is really cool because BDD has this ward here, so he can stop Owner's back. Faker has very little mana, and there's no one here to really support, so it's Flash, Vault Breaker. BDD has the charge here as well for the stun, or knock-up, I should say. And Faker just comes over here and weaves that auto in. Does have to expend his flash in order to escape. Wait, almost able to come over here and lock him down. If he's just a little bit faster, it's different stories. Oh!
And Doran's going to solo kill Perfect under the turret.
All right.
Missing a little context, perhaps. But that's good for T1.
It looks like a level 6 advantage and a little bit of hyperproc setup to whittle him down. Maybe.
Yeah, and a little bit of no flash and being, I guess, dead. I don't know.
Yeah, I guess we'll check that one out in the replay.
Yeah, we will get that information for you guys. I'm a bit perplexed as of right now.
There are some pretty gaping holes in gold around the map if you're a KT fan, though, and this is just one of them. It looks like he just whittled him down earlier. Well, it's level 6 off the last minion and has his Meganar. Does the Unstoppable get used?
He just gets not into the wall. Wallop.
It doesn't.
Crush him.
Yeah. Doesn't get to Unstoppable his way out of that one. Huh.
Yeah. Sometimes you just get chain CC'd. And, yeah. All right, Cuz going to be looking for the first dragon. Perfect. Will be able to grab one of these grubs as well. So that is going to deny a feat of strength. But that dragon is not going to be committed to here by KT. Man, this game is kind of weird, Wolf.
Yeah, it's not great for KT in any regard, unfortunately.
No, none of it is positive for KT.
Oh, yeah, it's kind of losing everywhere. The
Except
lane swap,
kind of the jungle, but not really because it's Skarner.
The lane swap, answer in the top lane was kind of thrown to the wind by Wei, unfortunately just tripping over First Blood there and giving it to T1, giving it to a Kai'Sa. Faker picking up a kill for free, had to use his flash for it, but trades that. It's not First Blood for KT, so don't get anything out of it. And then a solo kill for Doran with a counter pick Gnar for that R1 Cassante. Everything's coming up T1's way, and it may come up even more.
KT can't be playing too aggressively here as Doctarm isn't going to find the ulti. There's another heroic charge, and Wei, I mean, he did have the Aftershock this time, but it wore off, and then he died. And so, unfortunately, the Rel is dead for a second time here this game. Doctarm has thankfully been able to hold on and farm up after he loses his support, but this is continuing to be a bit of a tale of war.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of they kind of have Skarner, and then they have Poppy, who can also follow up on Skarner pushing people into the wall. They like to push KT into a wall. That's kind of what's happening.
Yeah, Perfect is still fighting Doran here. The Nabar is in a pretty good spot, and so Perfect does need to be a little bit careful. Still moving up though. This time does have his all out available. Might actually have that a W be able to mitigate Doran here a little bit. As Owner is going to make his way back, continue clearing his top side camps.
You know, you mentioned it earlier that with the Skarner going over, and also now with this early game, it feels like you're kind of not getting that data you were looking for on Smash.
We're getting a bit of it, though, because he's 2-0 already. He played the early game quite well.
Well, I mean, Keria stunned somebody into a wall, and then Skarner stunned somebody into a wall, then Keria stunned somebody into a wall, and he killed him. Yeah. Like, right now, Guma's watching this replay like, man, I could do that! I mean, come on.
I think Doctom's watching the game saying, man, I could do that, as he doesn't quite do that, unfortunately. Missing the ulti, of course, it was blind.
Smash is amazing, though. He followed up quite well.
He did. He hit them with buttons.
Look, this is the power of Skarner on display. Faker scaling up, 20 CS up on a Silas, on a very damage scaling Victor that's going to be quite difficult to deal with later on. Doran has already showcased his Gnar bar management across his career, but also in this first game is pretty good. So that's a pretty big boon for team fights when you can pair that with the Impale and stuff like that. I'm mostly concerned for T1. The one thing I'm worried about is what BDD can get done with the Silas and his steals.
Well, there is a Chaos Storm available, and there is the cease and desist. Cuz not going to let him live this time, and BDD is able to finish that off. His flash came off, cooldown, like 2 seconds after he died there. So a bit unfortunate. I think Faker was going to be dead with or without it.
I think so. That's not really what I meant when I said I was concerned about BDD's ult steals, but that's another example of how you can utilize the Silas pick quite well.
Ooh, Cuz is actually going to look for it again. Q just barely out of range on Perfect side, but they get a very early flash. T1 going to move over and look for this first dragon, though. That'll be the first quarter of their second feat of strength. Sandals being put together quite nicely.
Yeah, and this was utilizing their bot prio very well. Cuz went topside but didn't have flash or ult, so not really a play to be made there. The Grubs hadn't spawned yet or anything like that, so it was really nice for T1 to index into their bottom side prio, grab that dragon, and now they can go over to Grubs. What happened here before was really good wave management here by BDD, pulling Faker into an uncomfortable position, gets him in stun range here, and then it's a flash follow-up here by Cuz to get the ult. BDD gets the kill. Pretty self-explanatory there. Really nice usage of the wave by BDD to set that up.
Yep, and now has his dash cannon completed. Owner is up, taking this second round of Grubs. We'll give them 5 if they're able to get all of them. That's actually a big deal, and you can see that Vi is nowhere near.
Plus second feat of strength.
Yeah, and that means they only need to get the next objective.
Yeah, second part of the second part, yeah.
Yeah. The second third of the second bit of the feat of strength. They're gonna be able to buy new shoes.
Sandals are incoming.
Incoming. That is gonna be 5. So there we go. And T1 have a lot more pushing power, as well as getting very, very close to having new shoes, which is pretty nice.
Trying to set up a dive here onto Faker is going to be quite challenging, since his flash is back up now, and he is Victor, so he has that gravity field, and they're not going to opt into it. Poppy was nearby. That was the wise choice, although KT really needs to find some picks like that in these neutral moments, in these lull states.
That was a really cute boomerang.
Yeah, it was very cute, very annoying. And fortunately, this won't be one of those finds for KT. And I still think there is... this is not a gold lead that's insurmountable. You know, there is a lot of great ults to steal. There's a lot of team fighting power here for KT, especially because as Varus in a brawly composition that has a Silas and a Vi like this.
Ooh, and he has gone lethal tempo.
Yeah, he has.
He's done the right thing.
Yeah, exactly. So with this Varus, like he's set up to actually follow up really well to this front line if the engages are good for BDD. And so far, he's had a pretty good time of it. Let's see what KT can get done in some of these upcoming Dragon fights, this Herald as well, where they really want to snowball this mid-game. They're behind, but they can certainly turn the game around.
Cuz going to steal away a Gromp. That is good news. His owner's coming in, and he's gone out. Impale now picked up for BDD. That's a high-value one for Faker with it, as BDD not wasting any time wanting to make sure that that hijack is on cooldown and off cooldown as quickly as possible. Not that it actually really changes it too much.
It's almost never going to be useful in the side lane against Faker, so he was like, all right, I have it, you can't dive me. You're not diving me, I better go for something. Yep. He almost got it, but nice try there.
Maybe hasn't played a lot of Skarner as well, so the ranges are a little bit out of whack. As Dr. I'm going to finish his Blade of the Ruin King as item number 1. The on-hit Varus well and truly confirmed, which we like to see. Items coming in. First one's done for basically everyone on the side of T1 except for Carrier, who does have his Swifties now, which is certainly important. Faker still needing to go back home, but I think does have the cash money to collect that one. And the gold lead for B2D that he did have from all of those kills is not even really existent anymore. 20 CS up is Faker, and he did manage to get a kill earlier on as well. So 2,000 gold remains the lead here for T1. They just have so many tools here in this this mid-game. Owner can just press this button over and over again, and Doctom, he had flash, guys, and he uses barrier and dies.
Yeah, I mean, it's cool to not flash if you don't get hit by anything, and he thought he could, or he thought he could avoid, but he unfortunately did not. I think flashing in this situation is
dead. There's an Impale.
Oh, God.
And Wei's going to have to flash. He does manage to do so, as at least they do manage to get some damage onto Carrier. Cease and assist, as another crash is going to come through. Cuz is dead. You didn't ban Skarner, guys. As all right, let's see what B2D can do. Diving towards Smash here as best he can. Gets a killer instinct, but he's dead. Wei's dead. Faker's in there. They're going to take down the turret. This is a catastrophe. What is going on?
See you in game 2. That's all I can say. That was almost really cool, right? Doctom almost got out without using his flash.
Well, Chains of Corruption here as Doctom is looking for the 1v1 against Faker. Death Ray almost kills him as the piercing arrow does a lot of damage, but not enough to kill him.
They almost turned that fight. They almost killed Faker.
Yeah.
But a lot of almost stacked together. It's up being a whole lot of 0, actually. Only counts if you can succeed. And that's another turret down.
Yep, they got the strong shoes as well from that mid lane outer turret falling down. Then they would have got another one because Doran is winning this side lane ridiculously hard.
Doctom charges his Q. He's like, okay, I'm just out of range of this. And unfortunately, he's not, actually. And if he was, then it would have been cool. No flash. It's great. Probably should have just flashed up and said, okay, well, I lost my flash. You let him have Skarner, it's not my fault. You know, no one's going to judge you for that, for using your flash there. But not using it, we will judge you, unfortunately. Then, in this moment, Wei is able to pull Carrier back. But that means he doesn't have those key abilities for the follow-up that KT want to go for here when BDD shows up. BDD doesn't use the killer instinct that he steals.
I don't think he could.
Yeah, he can't. Yeah. So, yeah, he just dies. It was kind of a bizarre decision. The Wei also loses life, where Faker has to use, well, he doesn't have to, but he opts to use his TP, so that's like one small victory. And then you almost killed him afterwards, Doctom, but then you didn't. And
now it's a 5,000 gold lead. We are heading towards a Cloud Soul as well. You love to see it. T1 are the best at getting Cloud Souls, man. I swear to God, this team never lets me down. And so they're going to be running pretty quick if they're able to lock these up.
I mean, Faker has an arm guard because if he has all that extra money, and I mean it's a fine choice. He's very safe.
Yeah.
And this next Herald fight, I think KT feel like they have to. Okay, this is.
Oh dear, Owner's coming in. Wei's going to stop him. They're going to see whether they can kill Doran. He gets the Mega Gnar. Don't know about the flash, but it's going to do its job as Wei is just dead once again. Perfect and Faker are fighting. The Cassante doing some work here as they take down the Silas. Owner is deciding where he wants to drive, and you can see up here, nothing going to come of that battle. Yeah, KT, I mean, it's just not working.
Smash has a perfect KDA Atlas.
Yeah?
It fits right in.
It's looking real good. As Doctom, all right, lying in wait, wanting to get the Chains of Corruption. He hits it on the Skarner, and then gets impaled, and now he's dead. And the Skarner, did he notice? I'm not entirely sure. Another heroic charge coming on through here onto Cuz. Decent crash down, though, as Carrier may be falling, but not before Wei goes down. It's a double kill for this Skarner. Look, I don't know whether the win rate of Skarner is going to be changing, but deaths did double.
Yeah, globally, apparently.
Yeah.
That's great. They could even triple. Probably not, actually.
No, I don't think so. Not anymore.
I'm saying it's possible, okay? Yeah, this is unfortunately KT like, we have the numbers advantage here, but look at what's happening on the mini-map. Wei is just trying to buy time because they know this is a lost fight, it's a lost cause, and Smash shows up, he is able to hit his Void Seeker, and then Duck Dom hiding, like, you know in the movies where there's somebody next to you who goes, shh, when you're supposed to hide when like the soldiers are looking for you or something? He didn't have that, so I guess he just decided to make sounds and appear out of the brush, and so he died, like, because
he also wanted to hit Doran with that ulti, and unfortunately the hop came in.
Yeah, I mean, he was
exactly
going to die no matter
time.
what. It doesn't matter, but, I mean, maybe he could have just gotten out faster instead of waiting, and I don't know, Atlas.
I mean, I think if he was just quiet and stood there, maybe it would have been okay, but it was not.
Yeah, if you come at the king, you best not miss. I don't.
Yeah, something like that. There's one of those lines.
At this point, like, the game is such a foregone conclusion that, like, KT have to try crazy things to come back, and well, they have been. They just haven't been working.
The best thing about this is, what we used to have in the LCK was the issue of, like, they forgot to ban this thing and then they continue not banning it throughout the series. At least this time, it is banned throughout the series, and we're not going to have to worry about the Skarner problem again.
That's true, but I am kind of worrying about it right now.
Oh, yeah. No, but, I mean, you mentioned the foregone conclusion situation here, and I'm starting to believe you. Let's see. Maybe KT can surprise us. They definitely surprised Smash right there. Chains of Corruption connect, and Dr. Arm going to be able to grab the kill. That is a shutdown, and that is a fair bit of money going into the right hands here.
First death ever on the LCK stage.
Oh my goodness. He has a definable KDA to start us off. It's great to see. Speaking of great to see, actually looking for an opportunity towards his bottom side as All Out going to be used. Doran actually still getting a lot of work done as the Vault Breaker is avoided. Faker teleports in. Perfect in a little bit of trouble. Chains connect though from BDD. They do take down the Gnar, and now T1 with a few on the floor. This is the best way to beat Skarner. It's fight them when the Skarner isn't there.
That's true. Now they're only 6,000 gold down.
I was trying to add some hype to it, Wolf.
All right, so, like, why Vi is such a sought-after, incredibly high-prio champion is showcased here once again. We saw it with Sponge in that loss in Game 2 earlier today as well. It gives you so many opportunities to actually get picks when you're super far behind because she has really long engage range, really easy setup CC for your team. Similar story here, even without the ultimate, to help lock down Zoran, win this fight. T1, eyes a little bit big for their stomach on this one, hoping they can turn things to that Victor damage. They're unable to do so. And so this ends up being a big win for KT that I didn't think that we were ever going to see them get.
There's
again,
that goal, the goal graph moving back down.
It's a drop in the bucket, but it's still a drop.
I mean, it looks a little bit like a roller coaster, so maybe KT are kind of okay with it, because at that point, generally the roller coaster does go back down again, unless it hasn't reached its zenith just yet, which could be the other situation. Doran back towards the top side, his natural habitat, as Voracious Otacon once again.
Voracious Otacon really does not hit the skill shots this season, though.
Really?
Look at this.
Oh,
I mean,
finally
come
hit
on.
carry with one of them, but then he didn't even get his eye in? That was weird.
Let's just say he's not getting player of the match.
No, I don't think so.
Right now, I'm kind of leaning towards Owner. You know, if I had to be honest with you, Atlas.
I'm probably leaning towards Smash because he got first blood. And he couldn't do anything about the only time that he died.
Yeah, no, I mean, he just got jumped on, you know?
Yeah, just got vied.
Anyone can get vied. It could happen to you right now.
Exactly.
Don't look behind you. Just focus on the cast.
I know, like anyone here in Lolpa could just cease and desist me at any point.
Especially G-Sun.
I'm always actually wary of it. I'm always on edge. I'm glad that we've now vocalized it. It might help me deal. As G-Sun did just tell me that I'm good, at least for this game.
I mean, it's fearless, so you won't have to worry about it after this.
All right, T1 going to utilize the Rift Herald to try and take down this inner turret. And by try to take down, as the Rift Herald is going to try and get some value because it was almost dead before Shelly's charge even came through. Carrier actually going to save Shelly's life, at least for a moment.
We've
and
come
pull her away.
so far in terms of our Herald driving here at the LCK.
I know, it's so much better.
Let's see what's the next objective to fight for here for KT, where maybe BD gets it done. 4 minutes until the Cloud Soul for T1 if they secure it. Yeah. Otacon is up, but I think T1 have their eyes on Baron potentially, you know, being the thing they go for before that Dragon spawns, because it is T1 and they are kind of 6,000 gold ahead give or take. So I think they're going to be pretty happy to do Baron on spawn, because they do Baron on spawn sometimes when they're behind on gold.
They also used to do Baron when it spawned at 20 minutes. 25 minutes seems almost too easy.
Yeah, it's like not even. They're like, what? They're trying to change the code in the game to get it to come out faster. I look at Cuz has Flash, right? If you can hold on to that before Baron, I mean, maybe a miracle could happen. I'm thinking it's like about a 0.7% chance that KT wins a decisive team fight and gets themselves back in the game to get Baron and Otacon somehow.
I mean, any sort of insane fight for Otacon when you can then follow up with the Baron afterwards, like that's always a thing that you can possibly do. But there's teleport on Doran.
Okay,
has just hit Meganar now.
Yeah, Meganar's down, but I don't think there's really a window where they can capitalize on that, especially because Cuz just back to buy his cleaver.
KT are really not interested in starting anything themselves.
No.
They are making sure that they have vision in the areas that they need it.
Continuing to party push might be the best way for KT to get kills in this game, and kind of trying to surprise side laners, right? Play around this Vi. But it isn't going to be a long-term success story if that continues to happen. They will eventually need to win a decisive team fight. The only fight they won decisively was when, Doran overextended and T1 opted in to try to save him. Like, they're not even here for Otacon.
Yeah.
They are trying to slowly come towards it, but look at the lack of vision. They just can't get there. It's just...
I mean, BDD does have a Scryer, so he could potentially get some vision over there, but Carrier is just playing Bouncer really hard to get them into this area. And Otacon, not long for the world. They do manage to scry it, but is it too late? And I think the answer is yes, because if you commit to this and it doesn't work out, it's a disaster, as the Keeper's Verdict is going to be stolen here by BDD. And that's all they really managed to do. But now the teleport is coming in. Faker, that is a flank angle if ever I've seen one. The all-out means he goes even further. Cuz going to join in, but he goes golden. He breaks the arm guard and he will be sent back home. Of course, not really punished all that much. Wei is likely to die here as Owner is going to crash him into the wall. And yeah, he'll crash down, but he is certainly still out. And KT, they lose one. Could have been worse, perhaps. But It's still looking like T1 are moving up to the right.
I mean, Faker lost his wings, but that's okay, because he just doesn't really care. He's just going to come back and...
Gods don't need wings to fly, Wolf.
Oh, exactly. This has been proven.
Nor do they need arm guards.
The JRPG Bible, it already explained it. Anime also agrees with JRPGs on this sort of sentiment, but...
It's really nice when they agree.
Leandri's picked up for Faker, just barely had enough money to buy that before heading over to this Baron. That damage plus his torch will be very nice at rushing this one down. Now, Cuz still has Flash. He didn't use it, like I said. I mean, maybe there's a miracle angle here. BDD has Hijack back. Where's Doran's positioning? He's got the Gnar.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Oh, dear.
Maybe.
Intercorruption is going to stop Owner for now. They're focusing the Skarner and actually doing a fair bit of damage here as Doctor. We're going to try and still get these autos in. Carrier dives forward, playing pretty good defense, but so is Perfect. Able to knock him back. KT surviving for what feels like such a long time, and Cease and Desist is still up and available. Smash. Is he going to do it? That Killer Instinct, he dives into the backline. The Magnus Storm, the immediate reaction. And BDD smashes him into the wall. It is still Otacon buff that's available, so T1 can pretty happily do this, as Carrier managing to survive for way too long. They take the 100 gold from him, but they lose their Varus and their Vi. BDD, the Chain Lash comes in, he dodges the boulder, and the chains are not quite long enough. Oh, T1 can now move back towards the Baron and get to work on it. It felt like a hype situation from yesterday, but it wasn't, because Smash had Otacon buff, so now he's back. He's here to help assist with this Baron, and Cuz is dead. That is going to be a guarantee on that one. They've got a Cloud Soul if they'd like it to immediately follow up, and it will be a 10,000 gold lead.
You know how we've had these kind of graphics come up sometimes to talk about, like, oh, it's one of the first time we've seen this champion. Well, sometimes the LCK gives some information that the people might not be aware, or like, oh, Unending Despair is disabled right now because there's something going on with it. There should probably be like someone that comes up after during the replay. It's like, oh, by the way, they do have Skarner, so like, because like KT played that fight really well. BDD got the Gnar steal, and he had like 2 opportunities to maybe flash in and go for the play, but the follow-up wasn't going to be there necessarily. So he waits and waits and waits, and when he finally uses it, it's just too late, unfortunately. And even if he gets a big one, they'll have wings, right? They're going to res, they're going to respawn. It doesn't necessarily matter. And That was their one chance, their one fighting chance, and now it feels like there's just nothing left.
Yep. And now they're even not able to sweep this ward in the Tri-Brush, which is giving T1 all the information that they will ever need. And Keeper's Verdict going to miss this time around, as Cuz will find Faker in the backline, but then he will be found by Owner as well. So Cuz is very dead. That's going to be the first one to go down, as Doctom's trying to get some autos in, but he's just dead. Not a lot of opportunity to do anything. The flash doesn't quite work. He wanted to get over that wall, and Perfect is going to acquiesce to his request. And then that might just be all the positive news here for KT, as Perfect will be knocked down. And T1, with most of KT now on the floor, they should be able to walk up and finish this one off. Already the teleport's coming in. Faker, he is done with this game.
He really is. And I think you and I have been for about 15 minutes.
Wait, sorry, 28 minutes and 17 seconds, Wolf, that's about it. Wait, when was Skarner locked in?
Probably about 30 minutes ago?
Yeah, 30 minutes ago, something like that. Yeah, this champion is very, very strong, but T1 also playing exceptionally well. KT not quite able to make this composition work. They will throw some buttons down now, but their Nexus will not be saved. And T1 move up to 1-0 in the series.
Yeah, a textbook game here from Owner. How to snowball lanes with Skarner. There were some big mistakes from KT in this one, especially at level 1, unfortunately for KT's bottom duo. Way going in there at the worst possible time, at the worst possible angle, giving Smash a huge lead, and then Skarner just runs the map after that. So, like you and I were hoping so much that it would before today started.
Yep, and the only reason, by the way, guys, that Skarner is 96% presence, it's because it's fearless, and so it cannot be seen in the next couple of games. So it is still 100% presence absolutely everywhere. That stat was just a little bit confusing to me, and then I recalled it, so if you guys were also a little bit worried about it.
Yeah, like this game, for example. No presence in this one.
See? No presence. Apart from there on the top right, poking his head in, reminding us all of the mistakes that KT made in game number 1. Let's see whether they can remedy them as Mbessa and the Azir. We're sticking with the A's on the side of KT, and the Yone and Ashe going to be removed here on T1's side.
The Azir ban, you know, considering how good BDD is at it and how well he can play through Cuz when he has the pick, I just think it's hindering more than helping.
Yeah, but they don't want to first pick it. So
yeah.
I think anything that you can't really first pick is what you need to be banning on blue. And the Kalista going to be the final ban here makes a lot of sense. Jace sneaking through. That will be the first pick. A flex between Perfect and BDD, but I expect it going to Perfect.
BDD has so many, and I don't want to harp on this too much, but he has so many answers to the Azir. Like his Sylas he played last time when there wasn't an Azir. He's also great at Talia, which, you know, was not banned in the first banning phase here. So I find it puzzling, especially when you're going to be fishing for first pick Jace here, which BDD is very experienced on. The Ezreal we were kind of clamoring for before is going to get locked away for Smash this time around very early in the draft, but Ezreal priority has been pretty high this tournament in general, especially in game 2s where the AD carry pool gets whittled down a little bit. So I'm not surprised to see this. You don't have to lock the Leona necessarily here, but it's definitely the one that he's likely looking to grab as his pair.
Ooh, Nidalee going to be coming through here for Owner. Feels a little bit like a pick away as well, as Cuz would have liked to play that. Of course, we saw it work out so well for DRX paired alongside the Jace that was actually piloted by Yukal in that instance.
Do they just lock Zyra? I really hope not. Okay, I'm much more on the page with this. Locking the Xin Zhao away.
Yeah, it means that we might see, like, I wouldn't mind a Talia on that one as well. Oh, okay. Doctom just thinking about jinxing. There it is. Okay.
Has been known to play a very good jinx.
Arcane composition, everyone? Batches?
Victor's banned.
Well, not
Put Echoes up.
Echoes up. Let's go. Hey, BDD could like play that, or Cuz could play. It's a flex pick. There we go. It's mid or jungle.
All right, they're gonna try to deny the Leona,
which actually spoilers for the next one.
But like Leona is you know, very strong with Ezreal, obviously, and can work well with Jinx. Helps set up picks for her to get excited. The rest of the draft, though, pretty open-ended in that regard, so we don't really know how this is going to turn into more of a pick front-to-back composition just yet. It also could be that we see BDD play the Jace, and they end up getting a tank in the top lane, like a Scion or an Ornn or something like that, and that could be the way. Less likely with the Jax to be locked in here, though, for Doran.
Yeah, I don't mind Jax as far as setup for Nidalee is concerned. It's not quite the same level of CC that you can get from something like a Renekton.
It's not guaranteed.
Yeah. But does kind of work out if they can start bullying Perfect. And Perfect is not exactly having the greatest day so far. So we'll see whether Doran can continue that. Still, next round of bans to come in here. And mid lane might be targeted. Jungle could be targeted on the other side. You can see the Zyra already taken away from Cuz just to try and eliminate some of these AP options. I imagine Lilia probably to be removed immediately afterwards.
That's my expectation as well, because I think most people are thinking in this draft with the Jinx here that the Jace is probably not going top lane into the Jax. Braum makes a lot of sense here. A lot of power in the lane swap setup, and just in general, a very strong pick right now. Sejuani banned away. Can help you set up picks for this Jinx.
Yep.
Sejuani hits, then Shock Blast hits, then Jinx hits a zap and hits an ultimate, and then boom, she's excited. She's popping off in the team fight. So strong there. See what this final support ban is?
Is it going to be Galio Denial from Faker here? Because I think Galio fits this KT draft so well, and KT have now protected themselves from picking Corki, which is a great look for them.
I thought
This is
maybe
cute from Carrier.
Bard would be a potential angle. The Pantheon support has been the flavor of the month, you could say.
It did not go so well. Gave me a lot of channel points, though, when DK did that.
I like the Pike a little bit more than the Karma here. The Karma is safer.
It's so much lane pressure as well.
Yeah, and no matter what, the cool thing about Karma, and we haven't seen that much Karma despite lane swaps, is if you're laning into a top laner, you're like, oh man, good luck. If you're laning into just any normal bottom dude, you're like, oh, good luck.
Yeah, exactly.
It's pretty effective either way, and can help set up Nidalee. It's a little bit tough, but it can work. Wukong here.
This is interesting.
It can really help the Jinx front to back quite effectively and can be an extra peel tool. So I think this is a pretty safe choice. The problem is that, because it didn't look like he wanted to play it, the problem is that it's just going to get completely out farmed by Nidalee in most cases and isn't going to have the same poke impact.
Ooh, okay, this double resets.
This is wild.
That's a bit of fun. Maybe go even further and lock in Katarina instead, BDD. Nah, it's going to be Ahri. Okay. So that'll be where the magic damage is coming from, and that will mean that BDD is going to be pretty deadly this game because a lot of armor is going to be necessary. It does feel to me like Jinx is a little bit out of place in this draft, personally, because I think the only real peel you're seeing is a bit of a Zed hover there from Carrier. We'll see what Faker is actually going to be playing, as Nefiri would be fun.
If he plays Zed, it's just a throwaway because it's not...
Yeah, I think the Galio makes so much sense.
Yeah. I mean, Galio into Ahri is already incredibly strong. Because especially when Ahri thinks she's like, oh, I'm just going to go proc electrocute. Be careful. You watch out. You end up getting caught by that Galio. He combos you at level 3. He has that magic resistance built up into his kit, and it's very annoying to deal with his shield. And if you're trying to go in as Ahri and you get caught and get taunted, then it's just a disaster. Has great setup for the Nidalee too. If you can set up for a punch or a taunt, the Nidalee Spear always connects. So I'm going to be honest, I feel like some parts of this draft for KT Roster I could get behind, like the Jinx plus Leon. I'm like, cool, we build around a pick comp. Now you have the Ahri, but just remember what you're playing into. The shields from this Karma, the mobile Ezreal. Who are you picking? Who are you finding in T1's composition? Who's the one who's going to die to set it up? A Jax? Probably not, And that's where I feel like T1, or rather KT Roster should have pivoted based on what we saw there in the draft, and they did not, so they're hyper-indexing on this. Now, there's synergy in this draft for sure. I just wonder what they hit, what their grab to set up for the Jinx when we actually get down to brass tacks in these team fights.
The one issue that I'm looking at on T1's side of things is their lack of any sort of engage option outside of just Galio dropping. And you need someone to already be in there. I think if a Jax does it, if he gets a really good flank angle, then there's your option, I guess. But outside of that, there's no real way to get in. So much of this hinges on Doran is what it kind of feels like to me. Playing well so far. See how he goes right here. All right, here we are, ladies and gentlemen, onto the Rift for the second game of the Telecom War, the first of the LCK Cup ever. In the history of everything ever, no LCK Cup has ever had a Telecom War like they're having one today.
We could have the record of most Telecom Wars ever this year.
Oh my God.
If they're both in the same group in LCK and we get the triple round robin of that, and then they meet in playoffs multiple times. I mean,
we could break the
road to
record
MSI.
for the amount of telecom wars in an LCK Cup, like every single time they face off.
Sure,
It is absolutely insane.
In the year though, like
that is
year
true.
2025, like this additional one, they could play against each other in playoffs potentially, and then you have first 2 round robins at LCK,
True.
and the triple if they're in the same group.
And they
road
could
to
face
MSI,
off
playoffs
twice as well in like in like lower bracket and upper bracket and things like this.
Now, what if they're in play-ins too? I mean, consider that.
Man.
So I'm just saying.
It's pretty exciting. For Telecom War lovers, it is a great thing. And hopefully we just never see Skarner ever again in the Telecom War also, on top of all of that.
Now, let's talk about these drafts again, because you mentioned something that's a really good point, is the lack of engage for T1 outside of, Galio and the Jax, which Perfect spaces really well here with his acceleration gate.
Yeah, acceleration gate actually giving you the extra movement speed, so the walk at you and do stun with Counter-Strike just doesn't work.
Kind of unusual to see that at level 1, but in this matchup works out really well in this particular case. But yeah, it can lead to a kind of a weird game state later on if the game is pretty even, where it's kind of this unstoppable force, which is KT Rolster in this case, versus immovable object. The anti-dive for T1 is pretty insane. Like, they have the shielding from Keria, they have the Counter-Strike, they have Galio taunt and ult, and, the mobility of the Ezreal, and the mobility of everyone because they have a Karma, makes it really weird how these team fights can happen or not happen. Yeah, he took it back, it looks like, and
I guess they took a fair bit of damage. That
yes.
may have been the outcome here, as Doctom is now standing in the brush because Keria is in between the turrets, and he knows exactly where he is.
Remember last time when Duckdom hid? It didn't work out this time either.
Yeah, and now he's getting no experience. He's still level 1. Smash is level 3 because Keria actually gave up a fair bit of it, and Arcane Shift has to be buffed. Very nicely done there from Smash. That one last pesky minion meant that he didn't take any of the turret damage.
Yeah.
And now Duckdom can barely do anything in this lane. Oh god, already down to half health.
Smash has cleanse still too, by the way, so he's like not scared of Wei even a little bit.
Yep. Oh man, he doesn't even get that melee minion experience? Oh, it's an absolute disaster.
I told you guys.
Cuz was clearing on the top side of the map, so he does manage to get at least that, but still.
Smash is really good at doing what Guma does, which is winning lanes with Reckless, or in this case, Keria. First time, but he's showing some success with it. When they have a winning bottom lane, he excels at it, actually. He's very good at it.
Yeah.
He's a master of it, I would say.
I also think, now finally, Duckdom might hit level 2, but it's like the damage has been done. This is already doomed. He can't even kill the minions. The minions are too strong.
Yeah,
he's still on 1 CS.
Yeah, he's 24 behind.
God, okay, there's the second one. Doubled his CS in that one moment. Absolutely gorgeous. Owner's going to come on over, and they are just 3 pickings underneath this turret right now.
Wait, hold on. Wukong pre-6, maybe he can bail him out.
Well, he is going to move over here. He's level 4, has the double buffs. As Duckdom gets that 10 gold. That's more gold than he's got from most of these minions, to be honest with you. Okay, now they're going to make their way in. Keria misses the Q. No spear going to connect there either. As Duckdom, gets a few of them. So he's sitting on 9 now, but he's still so incredibly far behind. He's going to have to go for a back once again.
Yeah, I mean, everyone knows that feeling when you're trying to dodge like a Xerath ult and you're like, ooh, I hope this goes well. I mean, that's Duckdom's whole experience here, as he's not getting minions and is 25 CS behind. And yeah, he's 600 gold behind without any kills going over.
Yeah.
And he's not having a good time. He's still level 2.
Doran is also not having a very good time in this matchup against Perfect. Perfect actually changing up his playstyle quite nicely moving into this game. Playing very aggressively, finding the angles that he needs. And Faker also, he's doing phenomenally well as far as farm is concerned. They'll be very even by the time this minion wave does fall down. And yeah, no notes really on the T1 side, but KT, they would really like to have an AD carry. He managed to buy some brown bags. Smash is going to come up and just triage this lane for Doran. And the Jax moving into the lane with the Jinx is going to mean that he's going to have free farm in that scenario as well.
Yeah. TP to come through here is Perfect's going to come up here and try to put some pressure onto Smash. Level 6 doesn't matter that much for Jace, but does have a level lead, and that's some additional stats here. But it's not a true 1v1 because Keria shows up He has to leave, and until Cuz hits level 6, he doesn't really want to get too involved. BDD, on the other hand, is going to come up here. They have a really nice setup here for Grubs now. Wei also on the flank, and T1 need to be really respectful. Your Faker can ult in, but it's a risky call.
Yeah. Honeyfruit going to be eaten here by BDD, as Cuz will be able to take down the first Grub. Can actually just back away now if they would like to, but instead they're going to pull it out. Perfect going to just shock blast the wave. See what he can get done here, as the Grandmaster's Might now available here for Doran.
Perfect is keeping KT in this game, man. His control of the top lane, his pushback on Smash there, the group that they have with Cuz coming up there super fast to the Grubs means it's really difficult for T1 to enter. And even with Jinx, not having a ton of money, KT are able to get the first objective on lock here. And, First Blood's still on the table for them potentially. It's probably not going to happen anywhere around Duckdom at the moment, but certainly could still be a window into getting that first feats of strength set up. And, that's, I think, about as good as it could be here for KT is actually getting all 3. And he gets all that CS too.
Yeah, that's better than getting all 3, man. That's the feeling that they're looking for. Only down 600 gold, despite how, doom and gloom we've been about how this bottom lane is gone. The fact that Duckdom didn't exist until only a few minutes ago. And you can see Smash already with his Sheen completed, has his tier stacking up now as well. Cuz going to be moving on over. Carrier turns up at the same time. We'll just have to see whether the lack of engage from T1 is going to rear its head, right? Because not having the ability to sort of turn on a dime and just try to start a fight when you want to is difficult. And unless Doran is just going to be diving into the middle of them and trust falling alongside Faker, it's going to be a difficult time. However, if T1 just have full control of the area, they have a lot of range, they have a lot of poke, and that could be their avenue to success.
That's what I'm really thinking is going to be what this game looks like, based on what we've seen so far. But being 30 CS behind, as anyone who's played solo queue with a support that's trolling you as an AD carry, as long as you don't die, though, and you keep farming, that 30 CS gap means less and less the longer the game goes on. And if you're set up for success in a team fight, which isn't the case usually when your support's trolling, but in a pro game like this, Duckdom still has some angles back into relevance. It's not so big of a gap that it's unwinnable. And BDD, Perfect, man, he is crushing it.
BDD's committed to the ulti in. Doran, Grandmaster's Might does come down. Teleport from Faker gets him there very, very slowly. It's a bit of a turtle port, unfortunately, at this stage of the game.
Did you just make that right now? I haven't heard that.
No, I've been wanting to say it all season. I'm not gonna lie.
God,
I'm not gonna lie.
So good.
It's all right. Good. T1 still, I mean, they've taken a couple of plates down. If Wei had been hit by that, he would be immediately trying to go home. And I think Duckdom is right there with him. Oh my god, the damage. It's kind of absurd.
Well, I mean, they didn't get the kill topside, but they got Faker's teleport. So now, right now, BD has a pretty big advantage in mid lane. Doran's going to be able to get, I think, probably all of that farm there, it looks like, but still taking a bit of a tempo lead. And we've seen Duckdom constantly try to get whatever minions he can. He's going topside now. He's like, maybe I can get those. He's really just not farming very well. Given the circumstances, I think it's fine, and he has had some great CS under turret. But it's the first few team fights we have to see KT set him up to where he can get back into this game. If they lose a team fight or two, then it's like, well, now it's doomed. I mean, now you just can't do anything. You're just a paperweight in this game.
Yeah. Duckdom does make it up to grab this cannon minion. That is huge news.
It is.
And getting towards the weird item that has a name that I find difficult to pronounce. It starts with Y.
The Yuntal's arrows?
Yeah, that's the one. I used to be so confident with it, and I'm just not anymore.
He can also, like, make a slight, like, global impact with his ultimate. You know what if he steals a kill that way? I mean, that's half the gold lead that Smash has just washed away. I mean, there are ways.
Yeah, that's, in theory, a possibility. Okay, Turtle Port is gone. It is regular teleport again now. And Doran is not having the same game as he was last time around. I don't think it's going to matter too much unless he starts dying in these side lanes. And no one's done that just yet. Remember, the time to beat is 20 minutes approximately for the latest First Blood.
That is true. Now, Doran is still very relevant, even behind in CS as a side lane threat. Wei does have flash, should be okay here. He's not even going to take that much damage to the clips. But
oh my god, that's so much poke! True Shot Barrage kills him!
All right. Well, I thought I cast her.
That's what happens when you get hit by everything, by the way, ladies and gentlemen.
And when Eclipse is down, it hurts a little bit more.
Yeah. Oh my god, okay, well that should be an equalization of Grubs.
Okay, well.
And that's also first blood, so
Yep.
it's a lot of extra money going over to T1, and the fact that Smash picks it up, oh god.
Great true shot barrage from him. The thing about this situation, I was going to mention going to the Jax and all that before Wei really overextended there is, you know, if they get 4-5, the Jax is significantly weaker as a side lane threat because he doesn't have those grubs in his pocket. He's down on CS, but now they're even in grubs.
Oh dear.
And, I mean, Duckdom is not in a safe place.
Well, in goes Wei. He's trying to get revenge as B2D is dashing forward. Super Mega Death Rocket doesn't do anything, but that does not matter. They still answer the death of Wei with a kill on carrier. Support for support.
Yeah.
No first blood for KT.
Duckdom doesn't get any of the gold, unfortunately, but he's going to feel a little bit less pressured here as he continues to try to CS in this game. Duckdom's just playing a different game from everybody else right now.
He's playing Triage Simulator. He's just doing his very best to try and keep himself alive as much as possible.
You guys remember that old DS game, Trauma Center? So, I mean, Wei is like so out of bounds here. Avoids the spear, and then watch this true shot barrage. Spear also hit.
Yeah, the spear also hit. That's so crazy.
He had
so
to
much
flash.
damage.
He had to flash to live, and he didn't. And then Carry here, this actually looked initially like it was a really nice dive setup for Duckdom, but KT actually matched the play really well. A bit of an overextension there from the Karma, and Carry is taken out. 1,000 gold, the advantage here for T1, but there is still that team fight power in this KT draft. I think we're not quite going to be writing the obituary just yet. It's not looking good if you're a KT fan, but there's still a few more opportunities.
Yeah, we were calling the game over in draft in the last game. I'm happy to say that we're not calling the game over yet at all. Although it is looking a little rough, especially for the Jinx. Still, you do have a fair bit of longevity, and as we mentioned before, these engage issues might start rearing their head on T1 side, unless they can just hit all the poke like they just did last time, right? They do have somewhat of a range advantage, not necessarily consistently, with the fact that Duckdom does have a very long range with his rockets, as Cuz looking to deny this feat of strength.
Okay, this is a really, really scary position, though, for KT Rolster. If they lose this fight decisively, I mean, they might not have a way back in this game.
Yeah, biggest teleport just about to come back up again as Wei goes in, finds the solar flare. Super Mega Death Rocket landing his carrier so incredibly low. Doran, no option, cannot do anything, and there goes the Drake as well. It's beautifully played here for KT to make sure that they deny those feats of strength and get even more. And now the Jace able to teleport back to the top side so that first turret blood not going to go over as well. B2D with some spare time in the bot lane will be answered by T1 trying to push in mid here. Yeah, I think there will be an opportunity here for KT to be able to remove these minions.
Only a plate goes over. It's very split. BD is going to get one though solo, and the bottom lane much stronger. We'll see if Doran teleports to the bottom lane, because he's going to trade with Faker, who will get interrupted but then punches his way away. You can see that on the minimap. He's going to teleport bottom instead here, but BD at the last possible second grabbing that plate is pretty huge. Now this is kind of a protect the president type of composition when you are going to front to back like this. Wei goes in and engages. The rocket here from Duckdom, and the target selection on the carrier is fantastic. Doran unfortunately is left out to dry. The Cyclone locks him in place. Really well played there from KT. Just divide and conquer. They didn't even have to really do that front to back. They didn't really even have to protect Duckdom in this case because they split the team fight instantly. Wei's engage initially looked a little bit suspect, but the way they all followed up on it, the way they were able to collapse on the carrier was really well played, and the Doran's just kind of unfortunately alone to die, and that's a small dent in the 80 carry gold difference.
Well, now Doran going to get comboed here as Perfect just boops him away. Fair bit of value. Cinders all over the ground as we are gifted a Infernal Soul this game.
Second of the day.
Yeah. And the gold, man, it's so even. This game feels playable this time around. KT, they've done a pretty good job trying to even it out. Next objective will be feats of strength for either team, or if this next turret is going to go down, Ona going to be able to steal away that Rift Scuttler. Very, very nice. As a bit of a change in position here between Doran and Perfect. Doesn't work out so well for Doran, though, as he does lose his counter-strike. True Shot Barrage to get rid of the minion wave, as this could be a solo kill unless Wei decides to come over and steal it. But the leap strike going to be there, and Doran will survive for the moment.
Jinx Rocket,
Super Mega Death Rocket is sailing by majestically.
Well, that's a turret still here.
Yeah, oh, it's going to be a race, though. Let's see how quickly Perfect can take this down. Smash just needs another one, and it's not going to win. That was The first turret going over to KT, so once again, it's just whoever gets the next objective is going to get those feats of strength.
Yeah. 3 seconds till the Herald spawns here. Having that topside turret, though, feels very valuable if you can control that topside leading into the Herald fight, but mid-turret, similar story. Very, very close game here. Suddenly, KT only
fun.
300 gold behind. And yes, there's a big gap in the bottom lane, but there's an almost equally big gap in the top lane as Doran is finding himself victim to Perfect, who's basically decided that Jace is like Gragas with a hammer. He's like, oh, Counter-Strike, I've got a little Gragas belly hammer for you on that one. And he just keeps pushing him away, keeps taking these good trades. I mean, look at the build here for Doran as well. It's quite bizarre.
Yeah.
He's trying to tank
the good old
Jace,
tank Jace. Tank Jax, understanding that he is like the one guy that is going to be frontlining this game. Docdom, tagged by a spear, is exactly the person you do not want tagged by a spear or by the True Shot Barrage. As now Doran looking for that angle. They poke Shelly in the eye. Let's see whether they do manage to lock this one down. That's the steal from Ona. That gets them the feats of strength, and can they win the team fight? Doran already going to go down. Docdom getting excited, and the essence is picked up by BDD. Throws the Orb of Deception through, and it looks like KT just wanted to get out of there, but Faker says no! Docdom goes down, and BDD has to flash to get out of the way. Spirit Fire going to give him that extra movement speed. He gets himself out of there. Docdom not so lucky. Way was already dead. And T1 getting the feats of strength and getting themselves the Rift Herald to continue pushing forward.
This is so massive for T1 and KT Rolster. They got the initial pick on the Doran. They do not, however, get the Herald, like you say, and are unable to win the subsequent fight. The Super Mega Death Rocket actually does a lot of AoE damage to the team, but doesn't help them isolate a single target here as Faker goes in on Doran's engage. You can see the game plan here for T1, but Doran is actually pulled back obviously way out in the middle of nowhere here. Faker would have been maybe an ideal target here, but BDD's not able to close the gap. The Rocket doesn't hit Faker, and he just goes in for the re-engage. Docdom has nothing, no way to get out. BDD, of course, will be more fortunate because he's a little bit more mobile, but it was almost so good for KT there, but it's a huge win for T1. And I mean, it's still a playable game here, but that's a big deficit. This Doran may be
yeah, I've
isolated.
seen this movie before, but the Zenith Blade not going to connect. And that turret is still up. Owner also in the area. Carrier going to turn up as well. And Shock Blast going to be traded for a Mist Spear. That is going to be the Dragon spawning, though. Faker is on the top side that has Teleport up and available. And T1 looking to grab this first Infernal. Cuz I don't think wants to give this one away without a fight. Control Ward going over the wall. They are going to try and clear out whatever vision they can find. As Faker still waiting. Knows that BDD's up here as well, so has some opportunity to stick around on the top side of the map.
Yeah, this is a really, really awkward spot here for KT. Last time I said that, though, they were able to fight their way through with Wei going for a crazy engage. Faker can both show up with his ult and his teleport, so
yeah,
being even generally close to the objective is a big problem for KT Rolster. And they just can't really have that same Wei set. This time he's isolated.
Oh god, and he's by himself. Like, why are we doing this? He does manage to get some CC onto Smash, who may not have wanted to go this far forward, but Faker is there to protect him. Owner in the backline, almost kills him, finally does. Managed to take him. That's a solo kill? That's kind of insane. Where is Smash going? This fight is all over the place, but Docdom is the one that's truly isolated, and Perfect does not find the Shock Blast. Yeah, okay, it almost looks okay for KT, but T1 really turned that one around, and it should be a free dragon for them.
Yeah, close but no cigar. A story of many almosts for KT Rolster in this series, and this is just another example. As Wei is dead, so he has to commit. Now, Cuz is looking for the flank here with the Blast Cone. He can still use Warrior's Trickster if he actually has that Blast Cone to close the gap. So he basically has an insane gap close. Goes on to the Nidalee here. Smash takes a ton of damage, and then Docdom here, unfortunately, tries to link up with the top side of the team fight instead of chasing Smash with Perfect, and ends up just kind of running into 3 angry T1 members. So not the right call there, I think, but it was a tough situation either way. I don't know if he lives, but going that direction certainly helped Smash get out of dodge, who's sitting on 3 kills now, and kind of miraculously survives there with the help of his teammates. And it was a cool idea, like, and they salvaged Wei so well there with that flank from Cuz, but it's just too little too late. It just keeps being 1 step forward, 2 or 3 steps backwards for KT in this series. Just like when they almost killed Faker last game. And, you know, it's just these kind of small things that are starting to really pile up here.
Yeah, although there's no Skarner on the opposing side, so I think it's infinitely better here for KT. I think KT fans can feel like it's not just completely over right now as Faker gets a cute little taunt and stops Perfect from pushing this one up. Looks like Cuz is going to be able to get this Infernal Drake without too much hassle. And it's Arakan towards the top side of the map that might be the option here as far as a trade for T1. Or maybe catching Dokdom in transition.
Top turret is an opportunity for
Oh, BDD dives on top of Ona. Solar Flare is going to stun him up there as well. He gets heals, but it's not going to be enough. And now Cuz, Warrior Trickster over, looks for the Cyclone, gets the knock up. Super Mega Death Rocket connects. Smash gets over the wall though, and that Shock Blast does not land. They may need to take a Consolation Carrier, and there it is. Cuz going to be able to knock down that kill, and with 2 dead, one of them being the jungler, it may be time to grab themselves another Khan, as this True Shot Barrage is going to soften them up momentarily, teleport in to stop Doran from just destroying their house. BDD wants to remove the minion wave, but it's not going to be enough, actually. That turret is going to die.
The True Shot Barrage from Smash is actually super valuable here. I mean, these health bars are so low. Doran wants to come in and contest. They may have an angle. Faker has TP as well.
Yeah, the heroic entrance going to be there, but without Smite, it could be a dangerous one. Dokdom with the DPS, and Cuz almost just dead to Arakan, but nope, they're going to be able to take it down. Now with that buff, it's going to be difficult for Doran to really do too much, and he's just going to catch the wave. The rest of KT going to back away. And so that is a big objective now picked up here on the KT side of things, but they need to make it work for them.
Yeah, now, I mean, this is the first almost that's a KT almost.
They're trading it for inner turret, mid, and top. I don't know whether that's worth, because Shelly's going to come through and make things very, very difficult here.
We'll see what they can get, because Perfect is going in.
Yeah, he's going in, and he may as well. He does have the Arakan buff, and they're going to take down Carrier, so it's already worth it, I guess. BDD dashing around. Gets a bit of extra essence by helping take down the support. Let's have a look at this fight one more time, though, as Ona, he stayed alive for a lot longer than I was expecting.
Yeah, he's just so squishy, and it's a really nice follow-up here from Wei. And with his heal, like you say, he survives a little bit longer here, but this is a huge win. Smash's ultimate, though, as he is able to escape here narrowly, is actually really massive. It's almost enough to give Doran the opportunity to stop them from doing Arakan. As really want to watch live because it's really important. So
Cuz getting the double Cyclone here as Doran with that counter-strike just standing vigil, but he's not going to save Ona. Perfect going down very low. Cuz as well is in trouble. And, wait, never mind. He's actually going to be okay. Warrior Trickster comes through. And remember, they have the Arakan buff, so he's playing with reckless abandon. Wei going in. Dokdom is probably pretty dead at this point in time. Yeah, it's going to be Doran help blocking that one down.
Pretty rezzed.
Hey, there we go. But also still gives away a little bit of gold as BDD, I mean, cue the yakety sax. As he's underneath the enemy turret, looking to see whether he can take down Smash. He's not going to be able to.
It seems like a
charm from beyond the grave comes on through there.
Seems like nobody can kill Smash in this game. He has been so close to death many times, but again, it's been a game of almost. But KT almost getting wiped on Arakan, but not actually dying and actually successfully taking that objective. Looked like it might have been a big opportunity for them, but it wasn't that huge. Okay, Cuz, can he get the interrupt? Not without his ultimate.
Yeah, and not without any ability to really know what's going on in there, and so doesn't actually do so. So teleport is going to be utilized there from Doran. I think they know that that happened.
So this is where things start to get, it starts off really well for KT. Cuz's angle is really nice here. Taunt goes on the way.
As well, really good angle.
Perfect is playing such a good game here on this Jax. Once again, just going super deep here to look for some additional damage. Unfortunately, with this Jace, you're very vulnerable, very squishy, so he will, of course, just go back to the fountain. And they try to turn this into a big set of kills plus inner turret. They're just not quite able to finish and land fully on the mark, I guess, cross the finish line on that play. Nice try, though, with this dive. You can see, though, how difficult it is to fully commit into T1, especially when there's a turret standing in your way.
Yeah. I mean, it was Arakan, so maybe we can say that, they're redeemed a little bit on that front. Dokdom going to be able to pick up the red buff for the team, and now going to defend this inner turret. So Faker, here on this bottom side, outers and inners is going to be just free money here for T1, who have really rid the map of these structures. And Smash has done so much damage. Yeah, he's really making things work for him. Dokdom, not so much himself.
Yeah, I feel like
we'll have to see whether the late game is going to be where Dokdom can actually thrive.
This game for Smash is definitely a little bit better showcase of what he individually is capable of. because his positioning has been great. He's gotten out of so many sticky situations in this one. He's gotten high value out of his ultimates. He got the snipe onto Wei earlier. His True Shot Barrage was very, very strong earlier on. This one clears most of the minion wave. I mean, the guy is just, he can do no wrong. But no one's ever ulted a mid-wave with an Israel before this guy's actually onto something.
He is. He's able to clear it out majoritively. It's nuts.
It's
and
crazy.
That outer turret in the mid lane still stands. That's the ridiculous part. Is Wei is always so far up.
Yeah,
it's making me nervous.
He's the guy who wants to set up these traps, though, for T1. Yep. And this is really... Like, again, KT walking a fine line here on this dragon.
Yeah, because already getting it so incredibly low as Ona out of vision right now. Faker actually engaging onto Wei. He's not really the priority target. There's the Cyclone into the back line. Faker gets interrupted. No heroic charge for him. As now Smash might have his first death of the series, but no! He arcane shifts away! Keeps himself alive. It is going to be soul point for KT. They kill Ona. It is probably still a great trade for them. But the fact that Smash survives, that's sick. And Doran trying to get on in here as Doctom able to get the Flame Chompers down. Leaf Strike to avoid them. Doctom gets taunted, but he does have the barrier. Can he keep himself alive? The answer's no. And there's the knock-up onto Cuz as well. Warrior Trickster comes in. He gets, oh my goodness, the Cinders to keep him alive. As, oh, Doran, you didn't want to take that one as the turret is going to finish him off. And BDD is going to be able to pick up that extra money. Smash, he's just taken away the enemy jungle, living life to the fullest.
This is such a wild
This is the telecom war we were looking for.
No, exactly. Okay, so the strategy here for KT starts to seem intentionally. Wei sacrifices himself to get cooldowns to set up an engage where Doctom then gets excited. And it's been working out sort of well. The problem is they're a little bit split this time around. It's Lunch Smash. You called it out. Barely able to get over the wall there. Has the shield from Keria. Gets True Shot Barrage value once again. And then Faker is the one who helps clean up the end of this fight.
Okay.
Yeah, the world's smallest teleport, but it's actually kind of perfect.
Huge, because it's the only way he can close the gap here to get in here. Gets a flash as well. Taunts Doctom, puts him out of the fight. That's all the damage gone. Because if Doctom is able to somehow live there and BD is hitting these charms, the chase has to end. Otherwise, this is just a disaster for T1. Really well played here by Faker. A risky call, but it absolutely paid off. Doran's not too happy about how that ended, though.
Yeah, we're glad he didn't finish that word as well. So that is a little bit of a mistake on Doran's side, but as you can see with his build, this guy is playing support jacks this game, as he does amplify Faker's damage in this one with his Abyssal Mask. Kind of cute. I'm still not sure who's going to win this game, Wolf. I actually don't know. It is KT. They are behind about 2.5K as Perfect and Doran once again fighting.
You know, I feel like the winner of this game is Smash, no matter who wins. Whoever explodes.
Maybe the winner of the game is actually us.
Yeah, because he's just playing so well. BDD, I think, is his counterpart on the other side. Like, he's had a phenomenal game. Perfect, too, to be fair.
Yep.
And Doctom, it's not like he's playing badly. He just was handicapped from the beginning.
Aw, and Cuz, it's like 404 Cuz not found in Wolf's version of the.
All right, look, I just didn't want to say Wei's having a bit of a struggle.
He's got his fours in the wrong position.
Yeah, I'm like, everybody except Wei is having a pretty good time. Yeah. Wei is sacrificing himself, right? So that's why.
Yeah, I mean, all of KT can never perform at the same time. That would not be KT at all.
Yeah, somebody has to be Barrel in this case.
Exactly.
He's cosplaying.
Yeah.
Oh, the zap!
Oh, even gets the cat.
Does he die, though?
Dead. Yeah, because Smash just chases him down, has the extra movement speed from the Inspire, and it is so doomed. Like, this should be just Baron.
This time, Wei, you're not supposed to go in. Nobody's there. You're not supposed to just go back in.
But Doctom, you're not allowed to be there because Smash just chases you down and you
everybody knows exactly, like literally every person who's played more than 10 games of League of Legends knows exactly that feeling where you're like, I zapped that and I think it'll be okay. Like, I think I can get that. Like, hold on, let me zap that cannon and I need this money. I'm so desperate. I've been able to farm all game. It's not fair. They took my minions away. Look at Doctom. He's like, hold on, let me zap this. God,
he was tunneling.
And then the speed up from Keria, maybe something he didn't calculate for, but Faker was also there.
Smash also hit every button, absolutely nailing it. Really nicely played. And now, there's just a casual Baron on T1. All just because Doctom was a little bit too far up in the lane.
He did zap that minion, though.
He did get the cannon.
Yeah.
That is very true.
So, are we thinking, because Owner, I mean, it's not like he's had a bad game. He was definitely palmed for game 1, but it was Skarner, so, like, are we really weighting that highly? Or is it the narrative smash vote? Am I right?
100% it's a narrative smash vote. There is no way it could be any other vote.
I feel like it just has to be the narrative smash vote. I mean, he's a perfect KDA.
Yeah.
He died, one time in game 1?
He got first blood in game 1?
Yeah.
What are you talking about? It was all smash the whole time.
Mind-controlled way. Like, he has superpowers.
I mean, Faker also had a really good series, but let's see whether, I mean, maybe we're being hasty. No, I don't think we're being too hasty having this discussion, as Faker is going to get caught out momentarily, going to get stopped by those flame chompers, as Wei is dead, but can they kill Faker? The Cyclone comes in, and yes, they can! Carrier to go down as well, and the resets are starting to come through. BDD does need to be careful, because Smash, he gets charmed, and he immediately just Arcane Shift, cleanses, gets out. Doctom almost just dies to that True Shot barrage. And remember, there's a man advantage for KT, but it doesn't feel like it because Smash is here. And he's looking to just take matters into his own hands. Doran going golden at about 0 health. The zaps are connecting. You have to kill Smash, KT. You have to kill him, otherwise he will kill all of you. As Perfect gets on top of him. There's the shutdown. And KT, they lose no one. Maybe and it's an ace. And that's Infernal Soul.
Maybe we were hasty, Every time you doubt KT, every time it's a unanimous prediction against them. I see that fan sign out in the crowd every now and then. They show the shot where the girl's got all the KT preds for the homestand or the home ground or whatever it was called, and the KT wins, right? Like, this is just how it goes sometimes, but this is a big overextension from T1. And you're like, okay, man advantage, but Smash disadvantage. KT don't have that guy, but still, even he
can't get it done. Faker teleported in as well. That tower is not long for the world, and they lose the GOAT at the same time. Perfect is dealing with this, but what is going on? They're 1-3-1, and they're taking everything on the map. They have a gold lead out of nowhere. They have a Dragon Soul. I'm excited too, Doctom. I don't blame you.
Blink and suddenly KT Roaster bringing you to game 3.
But also, like,
feels like, but we're not there yet. But I mean, what?
It was Blink, and then T1 had Baron out of nowhere as well. Yeah. Like, this is like it's not actually League of Legends anymore. We're playing tennis or badminton or something like that.
Yeah. Oops.
Flame choppers.
Yeah.
Doctom, where are we going, buddy?
Doctom, I think
he just doesn't walk very fast. You know.
Yes.
He doesn't have flash either.
Yeah, he's now really not walking very fast. He's got barrier. Does manage to break those chains as Doran doesn't find the counter-strike. Keep walking. Flame Chompers! And Doctom will live. He even did the fear barrier, and I love it.
Perfect dropping the acceleration gate for him.
Oh, there we go!
He was not walking fast, but he walked a few percentages faster for a second.
He looked so slow, man.
Oh, man, this is Faker teleporting to die. We've had a few of those this season. Yeah, that one wasn't his most ideal moment.
Oh, Smash. Oh, dear. Heroic entrance. That's fantastic. So Faker keeps the AD carry alive, and now maybe they'll be able to get a turn. As Cuz down to 50%. If Smash ever gets a few moments to throw out some abilities, it's so scary. He's one of those Ezreals that just gets more damage, right?
Doctom is like, please true shot that. I need some minions, man. He's like, God. For me? He immediately walked towards it, and he was like, I'm so sorry, Doctom, you can have it.
I need him to sell his Berserker's Greaves and just buy Swifties. Like, I need him to go faster than this. It's making me so anxious.
Well, maybe they'll get a kill, and then he'll get excited, and he'll run a little bit faster.
We've got Elder Drake up in 4 minutes' time. Maybe that's where this game will be decided, Wolf. I don't know.
I just think that like, the lack of engage for T1 from behind, you can feel it a lot more. And now that the Jinx is actually relevant in this game, still 2,000 gold behind, by the way, but still is going to have a huge amount of damage output with the pick setups that KT have here. And someone has to go in. It's Tank Doran going in, but he doesn't have his arm guard anymore, you know? And yes, Owner has Zonius, but he's not the engage. It's really Faker who has to maybe try to set something up here. And it gets kind of scary. And getting caught, as Wei has for a lot of this game, isn't necessarily going to happen anymore. And it's not necessarily going to be the game-changing pick if you do get it, especially because KT can turn off of Wei's death so well, and they have so many times already, especially because on this Wukong, his angles he's found have been so good this game. So much of the reason that KT swing back in gold as heavily as they did is because they didn't have that many turrets killed. They suddenly got a lot of turrets.
They got all of them. So they equalized, and actually they took an extra inner because T1 hadn't quite managed to get the bottom lane inner turret as Doctom realizing that Smash still does have a lot of items.
Baron is up in 30 seconds. Owner doesn't have flash. He is Nidalee, so, you know, steals are possible, so they're going to have to do their due diligence about vision, which they haven't quite been able to do just yet.
I was going to say, do they have to? It's KT. Maybe the rules don't apply.
They should.
Yes, should is definitely, that's the operative word.
Instead, they're going to go buy items, and now T1 is going to have full vision control. They had vision on the right side of the pit where they were looking for a potential opportunity to make a play around a Baron start, and now they just have full prio entirely. So now that Engage Palm lets them initiate, especially because
they're running at Doctom, who is once again taking too much damage. That is another two-shot barrage. He just walks too slow, ladies and gentlemen. Now KT trying to make up for it. Keria gonna go down. Ona goes golden, but it does not save him. And everyone's just in the KT blender. Cuz looking for it, taking matters into his own hands, gets the extended range on the Q, and Smash goes down. Doran is tank jacks. I don't know what he's supposed to really do here. He goes golden a little bit, and then B2D takes him down. And Faker is running for the hills. The Brambleback will be able to block some of the damage, but KT, after using Doctom as bait, are going to be able to win the fight, and it's only the GOAT that is left alive.
Well, for now.
Oh, let's see. He is now on vision. Still getting hunted down. I think he's got some cinders. Yeah, he should be all right.
Cinders are unfair. That's cheating.
Yeah. And now KT going to get the Baron. They can now use the Baron. Maybe wait for a second. But now they can use the Baron to take an Elder. And so KT are really in favor.
Keria's like, I'm Shireliusing, and everyone's like, I'm walking fast. We're getting on Doctom, and Doctom is just like, they can't play the game. The problem is Cuz is like, wow, man, they all walked right into my Cyclone.
So much Cyclone value.
Yeah, he's like, oh, you guys are all walking all on top of each other towards my AD carry, and it really makes me upset. He presses R, they all get knocked into the air, and then BDD comes over here to help clean up the kills. Man, if Doctom somehow miraculously survives there, imagine the Jinx value too in the fight like that. And it was all just based on Keria being like, I think we run on him. He pressed 2, or whatever he's got his Shirley's on, probably 2, and ran at him, and yes, Operation Kill Doctom was a
and honestly,
but
I don't think it was the worst call. It was the fact that Cuz was able to find that perfect angle. As Keria, bit of a Captain Jack there on the Curials. Sorry, the Kales.
The Kales.
The Kales, Curials, Scimitar, Crucible.
Michaels, find it right next to Ross.
Yeah, there we go.
Buy some crafts and some used clothing. Perfect. He does a decent amount of damage here.
He also is so tanky, and he's got a locket for some reason, which is cool, because it means that maybe when the next True Shot Barrage comes around, he'll be able to shield it.
Elder is going to be Faker on the flank.
Flank angle. Oh, this is kind of absurd.
Perfect is like, I don't know, something's not right.
And if they kill Cuz here, that is actually kind of huge. They spot Faker here for a moment. Doran dives in on top of Perfect, but he taxis himself out using the Galio. And Doran is now going to pay the price. Oh, T1! That may have been a game-losing play because the Elder Dragon just came up. Faker's able to get out, but it's a 4 versus 5.
All right, KT gonna have to make the call. They still have Baron. I think just pushing rather than Elder is definitely the way.
Yep, not wanting to take the risk here, but it does give them an opportunity. Oh, BDD makes the play, catches Keria, and the zap almost lands. Smash able to create the distance over Faker is dead, and Wei is now pushing forward. KT not risking this Elder buff at all, and it is only Smash left alive. I don't think he's going to be able to do it. He takes down Wei. At least he gets that one, but it is 3 games. It was always going to be 3 games in this telecom war.
I just cannot believe KT were able to come back and win this one. And there were definitely some big flubs from T1 in this game, some overextensions, but Cuz just said no on his Wukong. Wei's dying, it's okay, I'm turning it into a positive. Oh, we lost Doctom.
He was sitting in the coach's booth alongside Coma, but not going to be coming in, and I think that makes perfect sense. Smash, no notes as far as how he performed in the last game. And let's have a look to see what's going to happen this time around. Still a lot of things that have been banned throughout the entire series. Things like the Azir that's been permabanned, is going to continue being so. Ambessa also taken away every single game. The Rumble actually just escaped the first game, but then was banned in the second one. Could be a big thing to look at here moving into game number 3.
And KT keep banning the Azir. Will be the 3rd time in a row in this series. With Faker not enjoying the Yone as much as a lot of our mid laners, and no Zeus on this roster anymore, they've been banning that pretty consistently through the LCK Cup, and that's going to be a continuation here. The Ashe is taken away, the Callista is gone. I think a lot of people with questions about what Smash is going to play. He's known for his Caitlyn, but they're actually going to ban it, which makes you wonder, what sort of pick he's looking for here that could be punished by Caitlyn, because locking it in at this point as a ban face up is a little bit strange.
Yeah,
the Rumble also is a consideration, like you mentioned.
Yeah, it could be a Zyra Khan angle, perhaps.
Could be.
As Zyra is going to be banned away. Not quite Zyra, but is going to be Zyra. And there was a Vi used in the first game, so that is not something that can be first pickable here.
Aurora,
Rumble. Yeah, that's what we mentioned earlier on.
I wonder if, like, Cuz BD are going to be considering playing that Aurora Nocturne into a Rumble here to really make it difficult to play out, because you have a lot of power with that combo. It makes playing Rumble so difficult and can be a big threat to the Rumble in side lanes. Just so crazy that that combo hasn't been utilized yet, and we haven't seen Aurora at all the way into Game 3, and it's open. Jin Zhao first.
Yeah, Xin going to be the option. And so that Aurora that you're talking about, up and available, a possibility for B2D or Perfect to go towards. And that's Rek'Sai, but that's just because
he's
referencing his debut champion, in fact. Got a quadra kill in that game. It was very cool back in 2018, 2017?
18, I think.
Yeah. And Bessa, she's the one that snuck through as well. And so Cuz looking likely to lock that one in, and there it goes. That is going to be top lane, though. No ambiguity there, given the fact that we do have a Xin Zhao. So B2D going to be needed to play some AP.
Yeah, very
and
like
Zyra Khan. This is what I was expecting. With the Caitlyn ban, it just felt like Zyra Khan.
If there's a Zyra in the game and you need magic damage, you could play Kennen in the top lane.
Ooh, that'd be weird.
It would be weird. We haven't really seen it this year at all. I'm not saying that's what's going to happen. Ziggs could also be a little bit of magic damage. You could poke a Zyra Rakan out of lane with a little bit too and start to get some turret value.
Yeah.
Pretty good value for Zyra's ultimate into the Ziggs ultimate if you can time it well, but there are other problems you're going to have to deal with if that's what you're ulting. I like the Ziggs here.
I don't mind it. And it also works out in the lane as well. You sort of just bypass it and you're not too worried. And so that is going to be the lock-in here. B2D could also theoretically be playing it. It is somewhat flexible, but it's likely that that one's heading towards the bottom side of the map. No Leona to pair with it. Alistair stock going up a whole lot, you could imagine.
Also, Nautilus, pretty good here too. Nocturne's going to get banned by KT Rolster after not locking it in themselves.
Yeah, there's the Alistair.
Yeah, Owner known for his Nocturne. The Alistair you mentioned is super obvious here. This last jungle ban, assuming it is going to be a jungle ban, will end up being here as, I mean, Maokai could be a strong consideration. I think Maokai is pretty strong here for T1.
Kind of
works. The Rumble pretty well.
See what they do decide to take away. Has Sejuani even been looked at yet? I don't think so. So Lee Sin going to be the ban though, of course. That is one of Owner's best champions ever. It's got a certain skin on it that Yukal was using earlier in the day. There's the Talia that we were talking about before.
Yeah, I think Talia makes a lot of sense as a ban here.
Orianna is also another option.
Nautilus okay. This is the other pick they could have just banned away instead. Going to give us some additional safety to BD. It works out pretty well into Xayah because if she uses her ultimate, you know, you can lock her down, or you can get her ultimate out with it. And it's also somewhat difficult to time, but I think Smash will be able to work that out. But that gets locked in, leaving the Ziggs flex still as a possibility, but again, unlikely, as Viego is looking like Owner wants to opt into here. Viego and Rumble has been a tried and true setup for so long, just simply because Rumble's ult damage is so high that you can just blow somebody up and then transform into...
Oh, it's Pantheon!
Okay. Flavor of the month, man.
Yeah, Lucid debuting this one a little bit earlier, and Aurora makes it to 5th pick, Game 3 on blue side.
I really like this draft here for T1. It's going to take a lot to convince me that KT Rolster end up with a better one.
Ziggs made me... Fizz made me so excited. Fizz and Ziggs in the same game? That confused the heck out of me. Swain's also fun.
Don't like Swain. I do like BDD on Syndra. I don't like Swain.
I love Swain. Swain's great, and it's Noxian themed. That's what we're about. And Bessa and Swain? We are getting all the way to the top of Noxus right now.
Swain is so incredibly vulnerable, though, I find, in a lot of these team fights. And the Rumble ultimate as well as Aurora's gap, like, not gap closer, whatever the opposite is, or weirding is going to give her some distance, right, where she can play around him really well. And in team fights and in side lanes, the Swain is constantly going to be a potential collapse target. He doesn't offer a ton of side lane power to empower the Ziggs and set up getting turrets off the map. Now, what he is going to offer, though, is a lot of power into Xayah, because he's very sticky. If he can actually continue to build his ult up and stay on top of her, yeah, she can ult, but he's just still there. You know, he's still threatening you.
Yeah.
And in longer fights, if he can actually get online, he is strong there, but it's so difficult to pull off. He can set up some really nice never moves and maybe snowball some early team fights. KT fans praying for the victory, but I'm going to have to lean very heavily towards the both incredibly robust and incredibly meta, strong champions that T1 have on their side. Even like these days, I'm not as big of a Xayah anti as I used to be in Fearless. One of the best options I think T1 could have gone for here.
Yeah, no, and it was seen a mile off, right?
Yeah.
You see that Caitlyn ban, and you're like, well, they probably want Xayah Rakan. And they're going to get it. The only thing that's a bit of a question mark, I guess, is the Pantheon, but we've seen that's already worked pretty impressively well by Lucid, not by Beryl, but Lucid definitely did find some success. Here on the side of KT, looking a bit more experimental. See how it does go as we jump onto the Rift for the final game of the first telecom war of the LCK Cup 2025. All right, KT fans pretty loud here. As Xin Zhao, I actually really like that Xin Zhao skin because it matches Ambessa and her theme. So the top jungle synergy working out well here for KT. T1 on the other side, like you mentioned, I mean, these are just some really good champions.
Tried and true, you know, very safe, very, you know, easy to set up compositionally. Like, Uner stuns somebody, you've got feathers for that, you've got an equalizer for that.
You do have a Nautilus to, you know, at least get a Featherstorm out from Smash, things like this. We've seen Lehens make it work very well into Xayah's. As T1.
Big ward here.
Yeah, this is Ona face checking, and the bomb does come on through as he gets pulled back by the never move. There is the hook landing as well. The rest of T1 will turn up. See who's going to win out as far as summoner spells are concerned. No one actually blowing any just yet. As Carrier diving forward, the flash out from Cuz is going to be that first one. Never move on to two. No one's dead just yet, though. Smash laying down all of these feathers. Ona so close to dead. This battle for the Raptors is nutty. As Carrier's going to get hooked, but unable to get pulled through, and BDD doesn't find that never move.
We're 2 minutes in. I mean, minions are clashing in mid, so some of these low health bars are really going to hurt. The fact that Owner has to back here and took his shield at level 1 is really going to slow down his clear massively. I mean, you can't really even overstate how bad of a position this is. And also a never move's going to land here onto Faker as well. Level 1 is Wei.
Oh, yeah, Wei going to have to flash that one. Oh no, it's game 1 all over again.
Unacceptable.
Absolute disaster.
Man. Like, that's a facepalm.
Well, we'll have to see what led up to it, but I imagine the news is still not going to be good. As thankfully Dr. Arm can farm from a really long way away. Man, maybe it's something about the top lane start for Wei that really doesn't work out.
It's into turret range. It's just that simple. Could have just continued to zone and threaten hooks. You know, you don't always have to hook. You can just stand menacingly, and when they come out of turret range, then hook them or make them lose experience.
Yeah.
Instead, you made him lose or made him gain 400 gold
and a feat of strength, and giving it over to the AD carry, which didn't work out so well in game number 1 either. So a little bit of a disaster here for KT to start things off. Not as bad as it was last time because Dr. Arm is still there and still able to farm from a really long way away. You can see using these bouncing bombs quite nicely. Has elected to go for the pool party skin, which is by far the best. So he knows what he's doing. Perfect trying to go aggressive here onto Doran, who's about to overheat, but doesn't actually. And Perfect not going to be able to get that last minion, but that is absolutely fine. And so Wei needs to chill just a little bit here. You can see, yeah, a little bit of a crying bee. So he knows what he's done. See whether he can redeem himself as this game goes on.
This is not as bad of a situation as it is from game 1 because, like you said, Ziggs can farm pretty comfortably. It's just not the start to the lane that you wanted. Like, they had a good start where it's like, aha, we have nice prio, we're going to zone you out of, oh, okay, everything we were trying to do with this early is now gone. But it's not like the Ziggs is out of the game, but you lost part of your really big win in the draft where, okay, they went Zyra Rakan, we go Ziggs, we get a nice edge here, follow the lane swap, everything's great, oops. And now we are like, okay, well, Ziggs will still be relevant. And they got first blood, but it's okay.
Ooh, perfect. Dashing around, doing some Ambessa things. But it's just both of them staying on pretty similar health totals. Both of them beaten through their potions, but Perfect does have a biscuit still available.
It's crazy to watch an actual top lane matchup though. Like we don't see those too often.
I know, and it's in the bottom lane.
Yeah. Same with the 2v2 top side. We almost got to watch it, but not really.
No.
Teleport here from Doran. BDD's laning really well against the Aurora. I thought this was going to be a matchup that, not that he was going to struggle in, but it was going to be tough to really have any sort of control in. But the level 1 gave him a little bit of extra edge.
Yep.
Stacking.
The power of the Sith Lightning, as Faker does land that combo, and that is going to make BDD's life a little bit more difficult. Should be able to hit that Demonic Ascension relatively soon, though. As, man, Swain is so cool now. Since, the visual update.
Yeah.
Just looks rad. It's got so many birds and animals all over the place.
This
Vision of Empire landing, actually pretty nice, but the answering damage from Faker is also very nice.
Skin is just so, I don't know,
regal.
It's Ned Stark-esque.
Yeah, right?
If Ned Stark had, lightning hands and, could use magic.
It's what I imagine, what's her name from Frozen? Elsa?
Yeah.
It's what I imagine her dad would look like.
Oh, I'm behind you on that one. I don't know if her dad is in the second movie or anything, in a flashback. I don't actually know. I only saw the first one.
Yeah,
sorry.
I don't remember the second one, but I imagine.
I've been burned by so many sequels, Atlas, across the last few years that, as much as I loved Frozen, I thought it was one of the coolest movies I'd seen at the time when it came out. I was like, wow, they still got it. I was like, nah, I'm not watching 2, man. There's no way.
you never should. I think
we all saw Lion King 2, and we were like, well.
Yeah, Toy Story is the exception, not the rule.
Yes.
As is Austin Powers, I think, also to a certain extent, but it's a little bit different. Okay, Smash diving on forward. Carrier is going to look for Doctor, doesn't quite get it. Good flash out, but they do manage to get the Summoner Spell in trade for just Carrier's 2 Summoner Spells. Cuz going to be taking down this Dragon, though, as the Grubs are collected on the top side.
So it's a trade of Grubs for Dragon, but also they have this dive set up here potentially with Owner. No wave, though, just yet, so that's going to be enough time to crash, or before this crashes for them to get away, but it means they're going to lose farm. BDD wants to come over here and make an impact.
Oh, okay. Well, Wei is going to get back to the turret because Doctor, he can teleport in. They do manage to claim themselves a plate. As Wei now wanting to create some space here. Vision of Empire gets some information about where Smash isn't. Teleport will get the Ziggs over.
Really nice pressure relieve there from BDD. Just kind of roams up and then goes back down. Doesn't have to get a kill to get them out of there. And that was pretty huge because, Duckdom lost some farm from that, but it could have been much worse. Could have been dove. Good play from Owner to come up there and threaten that. Pulls BDD out of the lane, relieves some pressure from Faker, but I think it was the right call from BDD. Just good League of Legends all around here in that moment.
Actually just a much slower start than what we've seen. I mean, the chaos does tend to happen a little bit later on between these two squads. So we'll just have to see. Right now, it is First Blood going over to T1 very early as Wei had his little moment. See who manages to get that first turret blood and who gets these objectives. So far, it's a trade 1-for-1. Dragons being the priority for KT. T1 being able to get towards those grubs. I wonder whether KT will put a little bit more priority on denying 6 grubs. Because
I think so.
We've seen, some teams just don't care. Other teams put a lot of priority on it. I feel like it has been very valuable, though, especially if you do have this Ambessa that wants to be in side lanes, things like this.
What I'm concerned about with KT for objectives is, sure, they got the first Dragon, but this Ziggs is really behind the 8 ball. He's significantly behind on farm. Obviously, the first blood going over to Smash isn't going to help his gold deficit either. And unlike Xin Zhao, Owner can be kind of anywhere with his Starfall. So, T1 can threaten to trade an objective and then actually collapse really quickly. They can look like they're outnumbered. They can find any sort of flank angle they want to. If Duckdom thinks he's safe in the backline, he's really not. So much flexibility in T1's composition. Even Smash can play aggressively because he's Xayah, and he can get out of dodge if he needs to, and then Owner can ult in, peel for him. there's a lot of really cool ways that T1 can team fight around these early objectives, and the Ziggs isn't going to be as relevant in those fights early as the Xayah is. And Keria maybe set something up here. Now, Cuz is nearby.
They've got a control ward. And Cuz being close means that we might not see that grand Starfall like you were talking about, the man drop from Owner. Of course, has just come online. Range isn't exactly that massive, but I think he would have been close enough, quickly enough. But with Cuz in the area, not going to be happening. Faker going to be able to grab his first plate as Wei comes in and isn't able to secure that minion, unfortunately. As now we've got Drake spawning in 1.5 minutes, but it is the grubs that are on people's minds, or at least hopefully they are, as we might get our first skirmish of the game with multiple people outside of that level 1, which was crazy.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think that one was really the first, but yeah, nobody really ended up getting a huge advantage out of that. Small advantage for KT, but it didn't lead to anything, especially with what happened with Wei moments later. As we see a group towards the top side. Cuz, on the other hand, looking like he maybe wanted to try to punish this Rumble, but Doran does have teleport, will be able to join. Perfect, we can say the same thing. Owner can come in at kind of any angle now these post-6 for the second grub fight, so this is a very, very tricky fight to play out for KT. Swain is strong in these early skirmishes as long as he can run his ult, but that's always the question, isn't it, with Swain?
Perfect is really having to play defensively. You can see the amount of vision that T1 has in this bottom lane is kind of nutty. Doran going to cancel his back as the grubs do spawn. Means he won't be able to reset in time to get over here if they do want to fight this. Equalizer could be important as Wind becomes lightning, not going to connect. Neither does the Never Move, but the hook is going to be there. They do get on top of Keria, who does get the quickness off. Smash taking a lot of damage. Grand Starfall does bring him in. The Demon Flare available for BDD is Cuz staying alive for so long. Doesn't have flash though, so he is going to die. BDD just trying to do his best to get a kill anywhere, and it straight up doesn't work. That was a complete collapse from KT, and T1 should be able to grab themselves some extra grubs.
I mean, Keria just totally baited them as well. Like, he's just standing there making it look like he's made a mistake, and he actually sets up with the fake out into the re-engage there from Owner. So beautifully, pops his ult as well. Even going to get a Demolish proc on the mid-turret and then go with his Lover's Duel back to base. Oh, Arias, you know, he's definitely feeling very good about himself here in this third and final game. It's a 4-0 now. As look at this, Keria dodges the hook, but he's just still standing here like, oh yeah, engage on me. I might be vulnerable. I'm definitely not a slippery Rakan that can get out of almost any situation. Oh, they hook him, and he sets up the charm, gets the knock up, goes back to smash, sets up the feathers, and then boom, in goes Pantheon with the man drop, and then Faker drops his ultimate on everyone. The problem with Swain, too, in these types of skirmishes is if you're not winning it, you're not getting out either. You know, a lot of mid laners can go, well, nope, I guess we lost this one, but I'm peacing. Not Swain. 2 kills go to the Pantheon there in this exchange. Keria, great positioning there, great punish. Smash following up well, Owner following up well, and KT, 5 grubs given over to T1.
Oh, they were able to actually... No, they weren't. That's 6. Should be 6. But T1...
The last one up still?
I think they may have just left one in the pit. Perhaps.
Yeah, I guess... I think that's actually the case.
Well, Mountain Drake going to be up and available. Earth, Wind, and Fire. An opportunity here if we get another Infernal Soul. Kind of nuts. T1 should be able to get this.
I think they got 6, by the way. I think this is bugged because they have 2 feats of strength, right, on the objectives.
All right, yeah, so they have to have got all.
Yeah, they had to get all 6.
That's the 2 that they managed to get. This is going to be feats of strength if they do manage to secure this. KT have information. Mega Inferno Bomb could actually just be thrown in to see whether he can steal it away, but they don't have the information. There it goes. Doctorm was waiting for it, but waiting a little bit too long.
It's just juggling.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't see the grubs on any of the T1 players when they're clicked on either, on the bottom left where they normally show, so bizarre what's going on. I'm pretty sure they have 6, though, if you're watching at home.
That's what I'm assuming, because otherwise the feats of strength just would not be there. And you can see now that the boots are looking a little bit cooler than the other way.
There's just too much evidence to suggest that they have all 6 grubs, I would say, at this point. It's elementary, my dear Atlas.
Yeah. We don't actually need Sherlock, by the way, Sherlock, so it's fine. We've confirmed it. Everything's A-OK. And BD now level 9. Just going to have to go back home. And you can see the money is just all T1 favored. And I feel like I saw what KT were angling for, right, with this draft. I just don't know whether now it's ever going to be able to get off the ground, you know?
Yeah, no, I to be honest, I kind of didn't really see it.
Smash really wants his red buff, and he will be able to get it.
He will get it. He's just got to stick his hand like kind of over the pit real quick, and then he'll absorb it. I don't really like the Swain pick here. Now, the other option he was looking at potentially was the Syndra, which has similar problems.
What about the Fizz?
The Fizz
Fizz would have been sick.
It would have been exciting. I don't know if it would have been good. It would have been another threat for the Xayah.
Shark!
Sharks are cool.
They are so cool. Maybe it's because I'm Australian. I just like sharks more. I don't know.
Yeah, Shark Week probably isn't as special for you guys, is it?
I think that's just a week.
Yeah, but you know, like in America, there's this thing where it's like, it's Shark Week. It's definitely not a marketing scheme to get people to watch more Discovery Channel. But like in Australia, you guys are like, it's Shark Week every week.
Are you in a coastal city? And in fact, most of them tend to be. As it turns out.
I wouldn't be surprised if there was like sharks in the desert in the center with laser beams on their heads like Austin Powers.
I thought it was like Dune, you know, where they're just swimming around in the sand, kind of like Rek'Sai.
I
very
think
cool.
The Syndra, the pick that he considered, would have had similar problems. It like rate for engagement doesn't really set up the Ziggs incredibly well, and you know you don't have consistent damage. The Swain fixes the damage problem, but is a fairly risky pick and isn't going to be great into the Aurora, and then. You know, the Ambessa is fine in isolation, but can be kind of tricky into a Rumble who's, you know, knows how to play Rumble really well into a melee matchup, and Doran kind of, he's done that quite a bit. He's found a lot of success with that, so you can find some threat there maybe in the side lane if Cuz plays through you, but he's got to patch some holes elsewhere, if you know what I mean, especially with how level 1 went. Now, I mean, it's still a playable game here for KT. Like, the deficit was there in Game 2, and they were able to come back. This isn't that same style of game, though, where you can set up a pick. It's just not really, I mean, only BDD can maybe pull somebody in with a never move, and then you have a big bomb dropped on their head. That could work. There's just a lot of get-out-of-jail-free cards. Even the Pantheon could just put up a shield and be like, I'm fine.
Yeah, the Pantheon kind of works very similar to Braum, which is a little bit scary because Braum has found a lot of success so far in the LCK Cup. Doran now by himself here in this bottom lane. Perfect does have his Eclipse done. Also a cheeky Hex Drinker to keep him alive in the lane, especially when there's double AP. That makes a lot of sense. And maybe this is the time, right? Like, Aryles is complete. Like, BDD has got some utility. Really does need Liandry's and a bit of extra damage before he's really a threat. But he's in the top lane. Faker is moving down. T1 just have so much damage if they do decide to turn, and they have decided to turn. In comes Doran, looking for that equalizer angle as public execution as they dive in on top of Faker. Can they actually kill him, though? The answer is yes, but they'll lose their Nautilus for it. Cuz has that Crescent Guard. BDD just trying to get this Demon Flare to do some more damage. It does do a fair bit off the back end as Cuz locks down the Rift Herald, and that was a better fight for KT.
Yeah, that was, you know, you could start to see some of the Swain value in those types of extended exchanges there for BDD. Everyone for T1 just has to kind of disengage and get away. The equalizer was pretty good for Doran. It's not leading to any big kills or anything like that, but the damage alone makes it really difficult for KT to stick around and continue the fight. We'll be able to stop this back as well. Oh, maybe not.
Flashing on top of BDD. The Never Move does connect, but he doesn't want to bring him closer. There's the Sith Lightning! And BDD grabs the solo. Or Doran dies. I don't know what you really want to call it, but now we've got Shelly making her way out, and she'll get a charge into this outer turret as well, and maybe they'll be able to get themselves a turret.
Yeah, like maybe we'll call that the curtain of Otacon, the little wall there that he had that obscures vision. You know, he didn't know, and he was like, I've got the element of surprise, and BD was like, I'm Swain though, and you don't quite have enough damage there, and the Never Move connects, so he's just waiting for a little bit more Spirit Fingers, and
the Spirit Fingers were deadly in that one.
All right, so watch Faker get engaged on here. The Pantheon ult actually puts Owner in a really awkward spot. He's like, I want to get dunked on, I can't quite get access. By the time he comes in, a lot of damage has been done. The equalizer, like I mentioned, really makes it tough for KT to continue to further chase in because everyone took a lot of damage from it. A little bit of a disjointed fight for KT or for T1. Remember here, BDD's first person.
Yeah.
Got him.
Not too bad. Self-healing of the Swain certainly working out here, and that was through Oblivion Orb as well. This is kind of nutty. Now he's got himself a Lost Chapter. We'll see what BDD is going to be building here on this Swain. I do love Liandry's. I hope he does collect it. But wanting to have a bit of added mana, I guess.
these small victories for KT add up a little bit. Getting this next Dragon fight would be a large victory, which would help propel them potentially back into this game. BDD does have teleport, so he can be here at a moment's notice. Needs to catch some critical targets here in order to win this game, or win this fight rather. And Duckdom's got flash, so a little bit safer. He's going to clear this wave out.
Yeah,
Owner
does get some shoes together as well. His Merc Treads are allowing him to book it down towards this Dragon fight. Duckdom and Wei in the Banana Brush. We know Banana Brush control so incredibly powerful.
Owner wants to ult the backline, but he also wants to stay close to the Dragon so he can secure that smite.
Yeah, there's the Never move as Faker takes the turret on the top side, immediately teleports in, is now perfect. He's going to spot the Grand Starfall. That means that Owner going to be moved out of the way of the Equalizer as well, not in position. As KT, they regroup, perfect on that flank angle, wants that public execution. And T1, they do not want to risk it. I think that's smart. Vision of Empire does give vision, as Cuz almost just blows up. Mega Inferno Bomb avoided by everyone.
Yeah, that was kind of the saddest Zigzag I've ever seen.
Yeah, it was not a great one.
But that's just another turret here for T1. So yeah, T1 made the right call. Don't take a bad fight there. Just simply back away. It's only second Dragon here for KT Rolster. It's not Soul Point. It's some useful stats for the Ziggs and for the Swain, but ultimately getting a second turret instead is probably for the best. And Owner's ult there, got him into the backline, but he was like, I can't actually isolate a target here. KT will trade a turret back, which is nice.
Yeah, it was perfect, like being able to spot the Grand Starfall before the icon actually happened on the ground, right? Because otherwise, I think the combo would have been good enough.
Yeah, and KT, because of that spot, because of the rotation, they just are able to kind of warp the fight away from T1's strong points, the Aurora engage that Faker was hoping for, and just grab Dragon and play safe and sit behind the Dragon and let Duckdom's poke kind of do the work there. And I thought that was a really nice reaction there from KT, and despite, again, a huge deficit for them in this game, they're really keeping their cool, which is really nice to see.
Controlling an area is something that they're pretty good at with this composition. It's, of course, what Swain is sort of built for, but you also have the Ziggs that has this minefield. You can be very frustrating. And also farming from a large distance, so not having that outer turret in mid lane is less of a detriment, I guess.
And the Xayah that's on 2 items, if she can't actually get into range because of all those threats, because of the Swain, because of the minefield, because of the threat of potentially getting caught by Wei, it doesn't matter how much gold he has and how many items he has if he can't really get into range to auto. And if KT have prio on these objectives like they have been able to try to manage to have in these last 2 Dragons they've taken, then it's still winnable for them despite a gold deficit. So let's see what else they can get done here, because KT is really surprising me today.
Yeah, perfect as well. I think his Spidey senses are tingling as he wants to get something in this brush. Yeah, face checks, and unfortunately the Spidey senses weren't tingling in the right direction as Cuz is going to move on over. He is running so fast. Mega Inferno Bomb will save the top laner of KT. Nicely done by Duckdom. Pretty defensive though, won't have that tool, as he is also trying to do some face checking. Please don't. Is what I would say to that, as Wei looks for the hook, does not connect it.
It's crazy we have another Infernal Soul, by the way, statistically, that's pretty unlikely.
It is actually Earth, Wind, and Fire, though. I love that.
Doran's going to get another turret here. I don't think there's any way to answer. Perfect has TP, but isn't going to opt into it, and so that's just going to be more gold in the Rumble's pocket, which is pushing him closer to that Void Staff. Likely, it could be a Crypt Bloom, but make Mooney upset, so I hope it's a Void Staff in this situation, especially considering the MR that's been built up here by his opposition. Perfect having that Maw online now for the side lane matchup. BDD, you can see, is, slowly but surely starting to be a threat in terms of getting his items online. His Rylai's makes him kind of this big bruiser in team fights. The slows make it so difficult to get away from him. It's exactly what he wants. He wants everyone to be kind of stuck in his ultimate, and it makes it easier for him to never moves and stuff like that as well. We'll see if this next fight here on this next Dragon, KT can maintain that same prio. Could be on Otacon, but it'll likely be on this Dragon, given the, fairly even game state, even though T1 have a big gold lead. Like, KT are still winning fights where they're still able to set this up. So I'd say T1 aren't going to throw it all away on an early Otacon. It is on the opposite side of the map of the Dragon, so KT also have the opportunity to potentially try to trade. But I want to see if they can maintain prio, because that is the whole name of the game for these team fights, working down gold like they did that last time.
Yeah. I'm wondering. So, Keria able to dash its way out of the Never move that BDD did throw at him. I feel like Keria has been so good this game as well.
It's been so clean.
He's found some amazing quickness angles And the fact that KT were able to actually come out ahead in the last fight, it's kind of a huge deal, just because he did get so much value. Still, KT just holding on, and they've got a Ziggs composition. That's kind of what they want to do. I don't know whether necessarily you'd say that KT like outscale, and it's if you don't manage to do this, then you're doomed. But W2D now has his 2 items complete, and it's going to get scarier and scarier.
I do feel
Malignance is really good for Swain as well, so this 2 item spike is actually pretty good.
The lack of range for, you know, Xayah, and like the fact that Faker needs to kind of be in the thick of things to set up his ultimate means that there's almost a Phalanx-esque type of scenario that KT can set up if they have prio. And so I think that down 4,000 gold, they have like 4,000 gold worth of positional advantages and team fight advantages if they can get that prio like they did on the last Dragon, and T1 are just not going to mess with that. You know, they're not going to take a bad fight, so they'll try to find gold elsewhere like they did with those turrets last time around. If it's KT having to get to the fight second and show up, their engages aren't necessarily as robust. They're more strong defensively.
Oh, Wei is going to find Owner here. Just puts up the door, or the shield. And Cuz is going to go in. Doran not going to overcommit to this one, or is he? Equalizer goes down. It's onto W2D and Cuz, and now Carrier looks for the opportunity, gets into that back line. The Ziggs explodes. The entire bottom lane is just already dead. W2D doing a fair bit of work, but it is not enough. Cuz trying to stay alive. The flash does not work. And T1 will wipe the floor with KT.
Yeah, you know, there's very rarely when you make a color point where you're like, I don't know if they should ever really be the ones to attack when they don't know what's going on. It's very rarely a more picturesque example of something, and then it happens right afterwards, because Owner looks like he's getting caught here. Look at how difficult it is to even kill him with this composition for KT. Unfortunately, there's a wraparound happening, right? They've now put themselves in no man's land. They're now not able to set up that Phalanx because they're being attacked from all angles, and it's a really nice follow from Owner and Carrier. Otacon is being taken in live by T1 after this wipe, and like I mentioned before, yeah, W2D, he stays in the thick of things for a long time. He's very difficult to kill, but as they kind of front to back this, as the rest of the team gets peeled apart, he can't get out. You know, he's opted in, he's locked into the fight, he cannot escape, he cannot get away. And now it's a 9,000 gold lead, plus Otacon, plus Baron.
Yeah, this game is all but over here, as W2D does find it nice. Never move. Doran's teleported back, though. W2D's going to have to try and hold on to this inner turret, and I just think that it is not going to work. Nocturne going to turn up with Baroned up minions. They do survive for a whole lot longer than they have any right to, as now W2D is just going to get ulted by Faker. Doesn't quite find the combo, as the equalizer is also a little bit weird when there is a flash up and available. Carrier just going in because he can.
I mean, Carrier is teaching KT Rolster a lesson.
Yeah.
Like with some of these baits he set up, some of these moments where it looks like he's caught, and he's like, no, you're locked in here with me.
And it was so face up as well. They managed to get it, you know, second round on blue side. Oh man, I do think that this draft, it's beautiful from T1, not gonna lie, but it is pretty telegraphed. And KT thought they had an answer, but it's just looking like it really is not.
They're going to hold on here. If they can hold on for 90 more seconds without losing an inhibitor, maybe they'll get another fight. The problem is that this Dragon is up too, and T1 just have so many different options. And there's no risk really because they have wings, you know? They're sitting here going, well, yeah, no, if you want to try to collapse on us, if you kill someone in the side, like that doesn't matter. Can you win a Dragon fight against us? We have, you know, the ability to just rejoin. Like, you can't win a Dragon fight because we have Baron buff also. Like, there's just no losing.
There's another equalizer that comes down as Nocturne is going to flash into Faker and just pop like a balloon. Faker just bouncing around his ultimate, looking absolutely cool while he does so. And T1, they just kill 3. And they're able to move even further forward. Perfect has decided that he just wants to try and take whatever they can. But I think he's going to be required back home because there is an invasion as T1 look to take down their first inhibitor of the game. And look for even more. Maybe they're just done with this game as Doran is just flashing on top of W2D, who just dies. Oh my god, Perfect. Maybe he shouldn't have come home. Maybe he should have actually stayed in the top lane because this game is over. Nexus Turret 1 is going to go down. Nexus Turret 2 is surely to follow. And Wei, yeah, he spent a little bit of time outside of the fountain, but I think he wants back in. Please end his misery, and T1 will acquiesce. That is the Game 3 victory. T1 looking way better than they did in Game number 2. And Smash, man, what a debut.
Yeah, it was a pretty impressive play. I'm putting in my comment for him right now.
Oh, he's the vote for POM?
Yeah.
Can that make some sense here? Even his Zai game, his Ezreal game, absolutely fantastic, despite the fact that they lost. And KT, certainly some things to look at here as far as how they're going to go about picking up some wins. But I think some identification of some draft issues could be coming in for the squad. But I don't want to take anything away. I think KT's game 2 was absolutely fantastic.